You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
To a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. podcast, the podcast that talks about my four favorite subjects. That's movies,
television, video games,
and board games. I'm your host, Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome. This week's episode, we're going to clash between two subjects on this podcast. We're going to talk about those video games that are based on movies. I'm joined around the table with the guys that love to play video games based on movies. Introduce yourselves around the table, please.
Super Mario.
It's me.
That's such a cool name. My name's Gal, aka Grey Fox.
Gay Fox, welcome back for season 8.
Woo! Back.
We said he wouldn't come back, and he did come back.
Can't leave, man. Come on. I love the show.
It's like a cult, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're trying to let you go now.
My co-host hasn't left just yet, so
Yeah, I'm still here.
He's still here
even though I haven't hosted yet. I will soon. I will get my Pokemon episode.
I'll tell you, mate. Get people to vote for it, and you can have it. I never said no. Anyway,
I'm playing Scarlet at the minute, so.
There you go.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, I find it a bit repetitive, but, that's Pokemon games for you.
Yeah, should get into Power Word then.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you both? You good?
Yeah,
all good. All good.
Thank you for coming on the episode. So, video games based on movies. How was the list for you both?
Extensive.
Explain.
So, I think I was talking to you guys a minute ago. Like, I'm older than both of you, so my video games go all the way back to almost clockwork. Yeah, it was kind of going through all of them and remembering consoles, if anyone would remember the games that I played on, even going back as far as Game Boy and stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, it was quite a lot of research, or as my other half calls it, loafing around playing video games. But research.
Homework. I like that term.
I didn't struggle making the list, but I stay away from games that are based on movies. I don't know. Hear me out.
And you came on.
Hear me out. I always feel like it was always like, oh, this movie's come out. Let's quickly throw out a game. And I'll say in the past 10 years I avoided them, but I still managed to play a couple and managed to get a list for you today.
Nice. Okay, then so let's do the normal and go through a couple of questions and then do the top fives. So first of all, you kind of answered it. So, Mario, are you into these types of games?
I haven't.
So, yeah, I think way back when, there used to be a time, just like you said, G, like it was you come across games and they'd just be bolt-ons to the franchise. Yeah. Like, I think some of the games like Punisher, they brought one out and it wasn't good. And some of the Spider-Man ones where it was just a side-scroller with a little bit of effort, they were rubbish as well. But there were other games that kind of came into it. And I think they started with platform games, like that started getting more interesting and more dynamic, and then they moved on from there to other things. Like I don't know if you remember, there was it's not based on the movie, it's based on the comic book. There was a Deadpool game that came out, and you kind of
that's
like shoot 'em up one.
Quite recent.
Yeah. And that's kind
good.
of like they changed the format and it made it more interesting and made it a better game, in my opinion.
There was one that was out again, coming from the eras of two side platform. I never played it, but I was, my mate kept pressurizing me to play it. Spider-Man 2.
Yep,
that was meant to be really good. Sorry for
on the original PS2.
Yes.
Yeah.
It came out on the Xbox as well, and if I remember correctly, it was the first one that had that swinging
maker.
The left right.
Wasn't the one that's like kind of like an open world, the first one to do it or something. Was that the one?
Yeah, and you could pull the triggers to do left and right webs, and then you'd
you had to do both triggers.
And you could run, you left web and a right web, and then you could run up the buildings and all sorts.
I didn't realise you could do both triggers.
But it then came out after that. I hope it's not on your list, but do you remember the Incredible Hulk one?
Fuck no, it's all right. No. It's all good. No.
There was an Incredible Hulk one. It was based on, I think it was the Hulk film. With Eric Bana, and that was on the Xbox, and it had this mechanic whereby like you can grab the tanks, smash them together.
Is that the one where you can literally just blow up anything, break everything up?
It was the entire world, and then every now and again you get a Abomination, and then you'd fight Abomination, and then he'd come back and keep coming back, and
that's quite an underrated game. I remember that. I remember that being pretty good.
That was fun.
I completely missed that one.
So with the games themselves, would you try the ones that you're just fans of that movie or have seen that movie or?
IGN. Sorry, I would go to IGN and see what the rating was, and if it was below 6, I'm not going to look at it.
Not going to bother.
But this is how it used to be with like the Nintendo Power magazine, so it'd bring one out, or Mega Drive. I think it was the Games Master magazine as well.
Yes.
And if it wasn't above a 6, then I wouldn't give it the time of day.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, similar. Like, I'll look into it further. Like, especially there's one on my list. Not saying IGN, but okay, IGN. They said it was a pile of wank. And I completely avoid. I was looking forward to it, and after a couple of years, again, and meant you need to play this game ASAP. And oh my god, it's up there. I think you know. I think I've spoken about it.
And this is what happens when IGN give it the bad review and not let you judge for yourself, sort of thing.
And it's weird when I was researching it. That was higher on you know, when you look on the website. Oh, let's see when that was up there. I'll say every time I found a list on a website, that was at least top 5. When it came out, it was like, oh, this is rubbish, you know, blah blah blah. You know, it's kind of made its way back. You know, did a little resurgence for it, and then you know the new, and without giving it off, the new Jurassic Park game that's coming out is titled. It was like this game.
Yeah, the one that's going to take place a day after the movie. Yeah.
Which when they were saying that, I was like, hang on, but you guys ridiculed this game when it came out, and now you're saying, oh yeah, this is. I hope it's like this.
Sometimes it's mechanics, though, isn't it? Like the game mechanics for some are ahead of their time, and then as they start coming back and becoming the game mechanics now, people go back, play the older games, go, oh, actually, no, this is really good. I like this,
They go back on this,
Which is actually going to bring to my next question, is the type of movie game it is. I mean, if it's one of a favourite film of yours that was turned into an RPG or a side-scrolling beat-em-up, what do you think would draw you to it? Would it be that type of genre, or would it just be the movie itself?
I think, so there's, again, like you're not trying to give too much away. The genre, and also the type of movie it was.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of a specific type of film, and when they bring out a game, I always play it. And a couple of them have been absolute garbage, but the first one I ever played that they brought out was a first-person shooter, and it was brilliant. And the next couple they brought out after that, and the packs, the add-ons for it, they were really good as well. Not on my list, but I don't want to give away what the film is or the genre.
I think I'm the same as you, though, to be honest. I think because ones that I was really looking forward to, one was an absolute stinker in the 360. Might honourable mention it later. But, what about you, G?
Currently, I think if there's only one game that if it was based on a film that I will play, which I missed, but I again, going back to my earlier points, I wouldn't go out my way to be like, this. So let's say a Marvel film's coming out and they rush out a game. I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna go play that ASAP. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think it has to be some sort of credentials behind it. Like if it's Insomniac Spider-Man, I'm down for it. But if it's coming off of a film, I would be like, unless you go or if someone recommends me, look, you need to play it.
You mentioned Spider-Man twice. I mean, is this on the list?
No.
Is this like a...
He's just been playing it at home, hasn't he? It's just come straight from playing Spider-Man.
It's just using it as an example.
I better take it off mine now. So a lot of these games are now trying to go into the universe of the film. So, i.e. between timelines of the movies. Are you like... Or sometimes they're kind of like an official sequel, aren't they, sometimes? Are you a fan? I mean, do you prefer ones that are meant to be the sequel or one that could take place between two movies, for example,
So one of mine became canon for a little while, as in the universe. It's not on my list, but yeah, again, it's that universe that I don't want to kind of give it away.
Right.
But it became canon for a little while, and the characters became like characters that people would talk about, they'd write about in the books and the whole series and stuff. And that I thought was really cool, that the game could actually become a part of the universe.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect kind of... It's like the Matrix anime stuff.
The Animatrix stuff.
Animatrix stuff. And what they've done with the Star Wars kind of anthology stuff recently on Disney.
Yes, yeah.
The little cartoons and stuff that are kind of... There's a little bit on the background based on some of the stories, and it becomes canon somehow. But I quite like that. I quite like when they take something and it feeds into it, and then they start using characters that were from the computer games for the books, or even for the films in some cases.
So it's the fact that they're acknowledging it. Is that what it is?
That's it. The acknowledgement in the whole universe. So the movie then also becomes part of the video games, and the video games become part of the movie. Yeah,
maybe gets people to play the game as well if they want to know the story more as well.
Definitely. I think it brings people in a lot more. I think some of the other kind of franchises, they've got a massive world, so you can bring it all together in one space.
Yeah.
I think that's quite clever.
It's nice. Quite nice when you're watching it. Oh, is this character's going to come? It's a good
the little nods. They mention a character in the background. Oh, I've just been speaking with you. Like, oh my god, that's from the game.
They're finally doing it.
It's when I'm waiting for Star Wars to mention cow at some point.
Oh, Keston.
Yeah,
they're so close, so close.
I was like, come on, yes, he said it.
I'm hoping like series 2 of I can't remember what it's called.
Ahsoka or something.
No, not Ahsoka. The other one, the one that's very much about the.
Is that Andor?
Andor, that's
Andor,
it.
yeah.
I liked Andor. I think the second series, I'm waiting for them to go into a scrapyard, and their hint to be is like even if he's not a major part, just in the background, just taking something apart.
And that would be from the start of the first one, right?
Yeah, that's it.
They had one from the game, the recent game. What was the one on Cow's one?
Jedi
Had the
droid.
Yeah, he was in the film recently.
Oh yeah, he popped up in.
He popped up.
Oh fuck, what was it? Is it popped up on the films? BD1, isn't it?
Yeah. What was he? Oh man, that's gonna annoy me. It must have been on a TV show.
No, wasn't it Mandalorian or?
It's on something recently.
It was something
isn't
recent.
It?
Yeah, one of those shows.
It's not Rogue One.
No, it's not Rogue One.
And what about you, G? Do you like an official sequel or something that takes place between timelines?
I prefer I prefer something in between, or like something. Say the movie takes place now, and maybe the game takes place.
It's like a gap filler between the two,
and it gives you like sort of like an imagination for you to fill the void, even though if that game doesn't fill that gap, it just expands.
Yeah, because you're like a fan of Clone Wars and Rebels, aren't you? So they're gap fillers, aren't they? Really? So I don't mean to say it like that. There is a story.
They fill a hole as well.
Yes,
And the way Clone Wars did like the newscasts and stuff. So like even if the episode you're watching wasn't directly concurrent to the episode before, it gave you kind of like that newscaster overview that told you, since we last met, this has happened, and now we're this, and now we're with Obi-Wan, and
it's not just a mere mention like it is in the movies. You can actually get to see it now, can't you? So
it's in a way, say like something like a recent show or film that's going a bit crap. At least you know they got something like, oh, this is not it. We've got another one. It's just a huge world. They can go in different direction, and it just gives them options. And then I quite like that aspect of. This has taken before this, and it's so what's happened in between. I like to think about all this stuff.
Yeah, nice.
So I prefer it.
Where am I? I can't remember those. All right, yeah. So, very last question, guys. Do you prefer them to be released with the movie or many years after the movie that is based on?
So the ones that I've played that have been released at time of the movie have been pretty bad. They're
pretty dog shit, right?
Yeah, they you can tell that they're just trying to get it out for release of the film.
For a cash grab, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, oh, we got this franchise, we've got to do this. A great example of that is the E.T. game. I think
the one that they ended up burying, wasn't it?
I think I mentioned this before.
It's funny you mentioned. I remember playing. Is it the 2D
yeah.
pixelated?
Yeah. The Atari one.
I've got it at home on a cartridge. I don't know if we can use the cartridge anymore, but I've actually got an ET cartridge.
You haven't.
I have 800. I've got an Atari 800 XL in my mum's garage. So whether that's usable or not, and it's a little cartridge that slots in the top. So I've got that. I've got Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Asteroids.
Got the old Atari.
Yeah, and it's got the little controller on it. It's a full keyboard thing. So do you remember the I don't know if you do, G. This
He ain't gonna know.
Nah.
do you remember the BBC Microns and the
Yes.
Acorns?
Yeah.
So it's basically like one of them, but with a cartridge slot in the top of it, and you could put that in, and it also had the tape deck you could attach to it.
Is
So
that the one that's got the stylish wood?
Yeah,
sort of,
well, no,
shape
it's not
into it?
even on your console. It's a beige keyboard.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's got like the keys are on like a platform that's slightly darker brown than the beige.
Okay.
And then you've got a cartridge slot in the top. You can put the cartridge slot in, and it had before even joystick ports were kind of on PCs.
Right.
It had that D kind of connector joystick port on the side. So you plug your joystick in, and you'd be playing joystick games on it.
No way.
I'm getting the vibe that you're still playing this Atari.
No, I don't
is
think
it
it's a
stat-
Just great
Stored away.
memories.
This is we played it every weekend,
Oh, wow.
and it used to come with a little book that you could write the games for.
Oh,
and
really?
and they'd all come out looking like that ET, that little 2-dimensional pixelated.
I remember playing it. I had
sprite-based.
no idea what I was doing, but I remember E.T. was there, and then
Yeah.
you have to do some weird things.
You have to collect all the items to make the communication device to bring the spaceship down.
And he had to erect his head to float back up.
yeah, something. Yeah,
And then at the end of it, it's the end of the film, but not done very well. So they've done it with
I
those
didn't play
those
it.
kind of sprite figures, and it's pixelated. But allegedly, that wasn't the original game idea. But they sold them a game idea, and this was the game that came out, or the game that they could produce in time to go with the film.
yeah.
And it
And it caused the crash.
yeah, because everyone played it, went it's rubbish, and then the millions and millions of games that they actually had, they buried in the desert in Texas.
Jesus.
And there's a documentary on Netflix about it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played the game. I'm scared of the movie, so I'd never play the game.
I
So
think it was. I was playing
I
it
know
as
of
a
it,
collection of games somewhere, like back in the day. But I remember the E.T. I was going to say that was my first sort of.
shut up, this guy, man. Right, I'm out of questions, guys. So if anything else, we'll just go straight to the top fives.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
It's time for a top 5.
So obviously, we'll do the rules as normal. We roll the 20 die, see who goes first around the corner. Yep. So I'll go first. Ooh, 15, baby.
Okay.
Go on, Mario. See if you can beat 15.
No,
4. Your turn, G. Biggles, G's.
5.
Right, so I'm going first and then clockwise around the table
Yeah,
then.
Sounds good.
Right, guys, obviously there are so many freaking games on here that are based on movies. If we don't mention them, you should have had your own podcast or you should have been on this episode. Bollocks to you. Number 5.
Number 5.
Right, my number 5, I'm going to go with something I was going to mention on the side-scrolling episode we did, Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Which I didn't, it was going to be in the, I think I did it in the honorable mentions, but mine is going to be a choice between the two. I'm going to go with the Two Towers released by EA.
Yes,
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
this was the
banging
one
game.
that sort of brought back the Golden Axe side-scrolling feel of it. I picked this one because it wasn't just based on Two Towers. Two Towers was getting released, or had just been released, I can't remember. But it involved Fellowship of the Ring as well. So it was essentially 2 games in one. And you can get to pick, like, obviously your Legolas, Gimli, or Aragorn, hence the barbarian female
Elf,
dwarf
and,
from
And
Golden Axe, mate. Come on.
Gandalf as well, isn't it?
No, Gandalf is in
Gandalf.
Return of the King.
Right, okay.
Which is what I was going to mention, but I picked this one because that was just one game. This was essentially 2. And obviously this was out for the Xbox and the first Xbox and the PS2. So obviously they had to bump up the graphics because it had full motion video and clips from the movie as well, which didn't really need to be in there. And they were sort of merging into the graphics of the game. And there's like, I'll never forget this shot of Gimli where it's the movie and it molds into the video game and it looks like terrible now. It looks like utter dog shit now. It's unreal.
All pixelated sprites.
It is, yeah. But you couldn't deny it. The game itself. It was just, that old feeling I used to have playing stuff like Golden Axe and Streets of Rage and whatnot. I mean, it's got even some of the things that just pop up in the movie for a brief second are like bosses in the game, like the creature that, the water creature that is blocking the Mines of Moria.
Yeah,
George, you remember that?
I remember
Again, in the movie, 30 seconds? And it's a full-on boss in this game as well, so...
They just kind of extend the whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
and then obviously you had one of my favourite scenes in history is from the Fellowship when the cave troll comes in. They had that big fight, and you could actually get to do this in the game as well and stuff. It was just so friggin' awesome.
It was awesome. Obviously, now it's
and
outdated.
then of course you've got Helm's Deep, which was like the last level. And of course, if you've seen the movie, you know what's going to happen. But you're waiting for that guy who's going to blow it up, and you're trying to take him down. And sometimes you do, but then another one pops up, and it keeps happening. And it's so good.
Remake that game.
You had to knock the ladders down, just like in the movie and stuff. It's such a great experience.
Did you play it on your own? Did you play it as a co-op?
I played it on my own, but then when Return of the King came out, I played it with other people. But It's one I would love them to redo or something, just to bring back.
Bring it up, even up the polygons on it, for
just
God's
up the
sake.
polygons. That's all you got to do. Keep the gameplay itself, because there's nothing wrong with the gameplay, but up the graphics a bit, and just a fun time. Like Begal said, you can have more than one player on it as well. And it simply went on that because it was just a big nostalgia bait. Even though it was an up-to-date game, it was a big nostalgia for playing old side-scrolling games that we mentioned.
Did it have a leveling up system?
Yeah, it did. Had everything. You can upgrade your characters. You can get extra things like Legolas. You can shoot three arrows instead of two and whatnot. Yeah, there's loads.
I replayed it briefly, but I remember my brothers loved that game. They played the shit out of it.
I remember playing as Gimli and I was counting my kills. Yeah. Legolas, poo! I'm on 17!
They were great. The side scrollers and that format as well just made it a little bit better. But also, like when they introduce the footage from the film as well, it makes it kind of relatable. I know, you can't relate it in real life, but it makes you I know where I am in the game now. I know what's coming next.
Exactly. Yeah, they could have done their own thing and just done other parts, but no, they thought, you know what? Let's actually go with the film. You recognise the characters, you recognise the bosses, the monsters, you recognise the actual levels they use, like Mines of Moria and stuff as well. Yeah, fantastic, great fun, and I can't deny that has gone on the list instead of Return of the King. That's mine, number 5.
Nice.
Mario, your number 5, sir.
So mine is a Mega Drive game. Well, I played it on the Mega Drive. Yeah, back to that again. And it's based on a ridiculous music video, essentially.
Okay.
Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Of course.
So this game,
an hour and a half long music video. Isn't it
really was, yeah, and it wasn't even that good. But the game took the bit of that film that I thought was the best, which was the smooth criminal kind of. He's in that gangster outfit, and that first level of that game is him in the gangster outfit. You're doing all the moves, and in order to beat people, like Michael does, a kick or it's in the Michael Jackson dance. Yeah, it's exactly that, like the knee wiggle and the kick, and then he spins his hand out, and even like his special movies, he throws the hat out, and the hat comes back and takes out all the.
Does it have smooth criminal in the background?
Smooth criminals playing in the background. Yeah, Mega Drive style, that 8-bit synth sort of music in the background, playing all the way through it. And the thing is, in that film, he's not even like the smooth criminal bit for very long, like maybe 15 minutes of the film, if that, and then it goes into something else, and then it goes into something else. But there's a zombie level to go, like a nod to Thriller, which isn't even in.
It's not in Moonwalker, is it?
No, not in the Moonwalker movie at all. But what he turns into, which is this cybernetic Michael Jackson robot.
It's a transformer, essentially.
It's an Iron Man. Yeah, he turns into an Iron Man car type thing to take out.
So there's a movie where he turns into the car. So the game is based.
It's the same. The movie's the same as well. In the movie, he turns into a transformer as well.
Really?
Yeah, the movie is like 4 different movies with the same outcome, and that is to sell lots of music.
Right.
But this game did the same thing. So what it did was each level had a different tune that was from Moonwalker or from an album of Michael Jackson's.
Right.
In the film, he starts off as I think, I can't remember now, it's ages since I watched it, but he's just normal Michael Jackson. Then he goes into a gangster zone where he's wearing the white suit and the spats and everything. And the thing, when he beats the villains at the end of the game, at the end of each level, he does a dance sequence. And the end of the first level, the Smooth Criminal one, or level 1-1 as they used to call them, he does the moonwalking and the leaning dance that they do with all the gangsters and stuff.
All pixelated.
All pixelated. But the thing with this game was, all the way through this game, right, Michael Jackson looks like Michael Jackson. He is pixelated sprite, but he looks like Michael Jackson. He moves kind of... I mean, if they'd used the mechanics of Prince of Persia, I think it would have been better, but they don't. They use this Mega Drive 8-bit stuff, and he moves quite jerkily, but you can tell it's Michael Jackson's dance moves. He's moonwalking, he's doing the dance, he's kicking, he's all of the stuff that Michael Jackson does. And then the last part of the game, which is you fight this big boss, spoiler for anyone that's never got to the last part, but it's essentially Space Fox or whatever it was called for the SNES, like your
Star Fox.
Yeah. That's it. It's basically Star Fox. You're in a spaceship shooting, and the villain turns up in like a bubble, like Dr. Robotnik from Sonic, and you just shoot at him from that, and then it goes, "Well done, you've succeeded." And then it's got Michael Jackson and the kid from the Bad video, and they're doing a little dance either side of like the credits that go up, and then it swaps to like there's been a little girl that is one helping you. Oh, that was the other thing as well. One of your special moves is Bubbles. Comes and helps you.
His monkey.
Oh. Yeah. Michael Jackson's monkey comes and helps you. But yeah, little bits like he turns into a cybernetic robot transformer thing, like you say, that climbs up and shoots.
Wasn't there
people
like a
and fly-
shooting star? You had to collect so many of them, and you would turn
That's
into
it, and then you would turn it.
Or
yeah,
to be style.
That's it. Yeah, not rise from the grave. but
Rise
from
from
the grave. But that would have been but yeah, he'd like do all the moves and stuff, and he'd be fighting the villains, and it would like sparkle magic comes from his hands, and that's what takes out the villains as he goes. But at the end of every section, he would do like a little dance number with all the gangsters around him. So
Sort of to signify that was the end of the level.
Wow. So like you'd beat them, throw the hat out, the hat would come back, and then everyone would do this dance in time on the screen. Like it was. This is why it's my number 5, because it is ridiculously stupidly great at the same time.
Wasn't
like,
there levels where he's looking for kids in cupboards and stuff or something?
yeah, you had to say, yeah, I know it doesn't do his reputation any good as a computer game. Like, it almost cemented it by Sega. But yeah, there's a little girl with a teddy that he chases down, and then there's a little boy that's dressed like a ragamuffin kind of Oliver Twist character, and he goes hunting for every stereotype of Michael Jackson is in this, other than the plastic surgery bit. Well, I suppose it's that's in there as well, because he turns into a car, a robot, But yeah,
that fucking film.
I mean, that film is.
You
awful.
need to watch it, dude.
Yeah.
It's so hard to explain it to you.
It's like somebody vomited up M.T.V. and it was all the Michael Jackson videos that somebody's vomited up.
So you're watching this, and it's just music. His music.
So there is this kind of story to it, but there's music videos thrown into it.
Yeah. So the Moonwalker film is basically there's a guy trying to take away Michael's magic or something. Which happens.
Joe Pesci, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember, but you get like a pixelated Joe Pesci picture on the
game.
And
isn't
the
it?
game,
Yeah.
the big boss, he comes up and he says to Michael, like, "You'll never defeat me. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do." And and it's little pixelated Joe Pesci. I thought it was. I didn't want to say because I was like, I didn't.
Yeah, it's definitely him.
But yeah, it's. I mean, the film itself.
It's something.
By the end of it, Michael returns to the stars as like some sort of robot, and there's a
this
sequence.
Is Scream in a commentary corner. I'm telling you,
it's
Moonwalker's commentary
corner.
corner.
Oh my god! I don't think we could ever give that one out. Like, that really would
it's
be.
Literally getting no listens. That one.
That, and I think if anyone listened to it, we get sued.
True. Yeah.
But no, the film kind of didn't do him any kind of favors, and also like the game lives up to the stereotypes that everyone had of Michael Jackson at the time. Oh. But if it hadn't got here, if it just got Michael Jackson attached to it and wasn't the film, it would be quite a good game. But it had the Moonwalker idea to it, and the film.
Was it out the same time as the film?
So it came out before the film.
Before?
So the film, as I remember it, because I was going to go and watch the film in the cinema, because at that stage of my life I was a big Michael Jackson fan. In fact...
Who wasn't then?
I'd seen him at Wembley at the Dangerous Tour, and the game came out just, I think it was about a month or two before before the film came out. So everyone knew something was happening in the movie,
right?
But the movie itself was just literally a car crash. It's just, I can't.
It hasn't aged well. Let's put it that way.
No. And literally, if you look back at it, you can see things that people have said over time about Michael Jackson, and you've gone, oh. Yeah, that rings true a little bit. But yeah, that's my number 5.
Good shout, sir. I didn't expect that whatsoever. Go on in, Gal.
I don't expect us to clash.
He did say that. He did say it before we started. Go on, Gal.
My number 5 is Jurassic Evolution.
Nice. That's the park building one, isn't it? Yeah. The first or second one?
I'll say the first one.
Okay.
It's essentially, it takes place after the Jurassic World.
That's the Chris Pratt one,
yeah. And it starts off as there's no story to it. You essentially end up running the park as you would, like, when you were watching the film, you're like, oh man, actually build a park, and you get to pick your base and lay out where you want your center.
It was essentially theme park, but with Jurassic Park, wasn't it? Right? Yeah.
The vibe I got is, what's the board game we played?
Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, that's the vibe, and it was pretty cool, and it's got Jeff.
Yes, I was about to say, I literally played it again because it's narrated by Jeff Goldblum. He's like, "Oh, you build a fence, have you?"
Yeah, and it kind of changes like 3 different places of, like, the first being like a little tutorial type thing, it lets you, and then it moves you around the whole island, and it introduces weather and all these, and then stuff like that, and it gets harder and harder. But it was just the building aspect of getting DNA, sending off your researchers to create different sort of dinosaurs. You can get all the new ones and Indominus. It's just great.
Yeah, because I remember that was the one that sort of introduced the aqua dinosaurs as well, wasn't it?
You can literally build that park from the Jurassic World. That whole, that pyramid structure.
Yes,
You've got the one, the dinosaur you're talking about.
Yeah, and because the only reason because I never played it when it first came out, so I never really done that part. I only bought it because the DLC was because you could build the original park from the first movie.
I didn't get the
and that's
DLC,
that's the only reason why I played it, because you could just do it from the original.
Yeah.
Does it have the dead zones in the back of that park as well?
Probably. I never got that far with it.
Fair enough.
I just wanted to build the visitor centre.
With the giant skeleton in the middle of it.
Exactly, yeah.
It does this cool things as well, like when the dinosaurs escape.
And make sure my raptor pen actually works. They weren't going to escape. They remember.
You got me off. I was going to say. Oh yeah, it's got this cool sort of feature where, like, if your dinosaurs escape, it's quite brutal. Like,
oh yes,
escape.
they can. I forgot about this. Yes,
so
you're right.
you can get in the helicopter and then you can have a first-person shooting
shooting
them down and stuff. No, it's great.
No, I'm sure you can. It's amazing. I'm sure it's tranquilizer, right?
Tranquilizer, sorry, and then you track and you got to lift them back and
you
stuff
fucking
like that.
poach them just because they escaped.
If you love. Yeah, you love it.
If you love Jurassic Park, you love Theme Park, then yeah,
it starts well as well. It's got the music in the background. It's like, I'll go back to the park.
I say, and if you want a game narrated by Jeff Goldblum and you love the man, simply play that, mate. It's brilliant.
Cracking game.
Nice choice, sir. Right, and both choices are great. Right, let's go to number 4s.
Number 4.
Right, my number 4, I'm going to go back with the style of a game that's more than one game in the game. So obviously Two Towers was 2 games in one, wasn't it? So this one's 3 games in one. I've gone with Die Hard Trilogy for the PS1 and Sega Saturn. Okay?
I haven't played it.
So
it's a great game.
You're so fucking young, it's unreal.
Actually, it's a great 3-in-1 game, and it is 3 separate games in one.
He's exactly right. It's the reason why it's on there, because this game sort of come out of nowhere. PlayStation were knocking out hits one by one, and then I remember one night we used to go around a friend's house to play PlayStation every weekend, and we would go to Blockbusters, rent this out, and it's like, Die Hard Trilogy? I never even heard of this game. Let's give it a go. And like I said, 3 games in one. The first one's literally an action-packed platformer, shoot 'em up, where you go around the Nakatomi Plaza killing all the terrorists and stuff. Number 2 is a gun game, essentially.
It's Time Crisis before Time Crisis came out on the PS1.
Yeah, so it's like, you can do it with the controllers, but it's better with a light gun.
It came with a light gun. Do you remember this?
Did it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's the only game I had that came with a light gun, and it had the recoil in the gun.
Oh, I never knew that.
So it had like it looked like a Desert Eagle sort of gun.
Yeah.
And as you pulled the trigger, the slide on the top would pull back. And
sick.
it would fire, and it would actually recoil in your hand.
Oh, that's sick.
This is the PS1.
Jesus, why don't they make the shit like this no more?
But in order for you to reload, you had a red button on the side of it, and so you'd press that, it would slot back, go back, and then you carry on firing again.
It's fucking sick.
It was mad.
Yeah, and that was PS1. It's not even like any modern console. There are no light gun games anymore.
You'd think nowadays that's the sort of gun to be out for today. But yeah. So that was a gun game, and then obviously number 2 was a driving... No, sorry, number 3 was a driving one.
Game. Yeah, and that was essentially like a road rashy thing. You had to bash the...
You had to get to one point of the air, so you essentially had to find a bomb and hit it with your car to stop it blowing up, funny enough. Even though you hit it with a car, it blows up.
and you'd even take damage in some of the levels, if I remember correctly, on the car.
Just to recap, so
go on.
The game was released as 3 games.
No.
So it's 3 games on one disc.
One disc.
One disc.
Okay.
3 games. And you basically, at the beginning, it was a black silhouette, and you'd have the Nakatomi Plaza Tower, and then you'd push left or right. If you went right, it was a plane. And then if you pushed right again, you had a really bad yellow taxi.
Yeah.
Have you seen it recently? Like played it recently?
It does look pretty bad.
It looks like Roblox. Like the Nakatomi Plaza one is like a Roblox kind of character going through shooting
with a white vest and black trousers.
Exactly that, going through and kind of shooting all things. But there was the other thing was like you could shoot the ceiling tiles in.
Yes, I remember that.
So the ceiling tiles would fall down
and
on
all
top
the walls as well. It would just fall down, wouldn't it?
Or you could cheat on the first level. So one of the things where you could shoot a taxi, the taxi would blow up, and it would take out 3 of the bad guys that were hiding behind the taxi. So you could like do that, but of course then it took out innocence at the same time.
But that's another reason why I liked it, because it was very realistic for what like you could shoot for anything. Like I said, Mario, you could throw a grenade under one thing and you would kill the civilians. What I used to love about the third one is if you go on the pavement and you put it on first person view, your window wipe would wipe all the blood off.
And you could do there were ramps specifically built in that as well. So they were you were taking helicopters out before the fourth Die Hard film would come out. Where he takes uses the car as the weapon to take the helicopter out. You could do that in this game as well.
I think you had to get one of the bombs, didn't you?
I mean, it sounds like a really cool Lego game. Like honestly, you can make
it was because when you saw the cover, you just thought, all right, because Alien Trilogy had not come out, and it's literally a first-person shooter of the three movies. This one was literally three different types of games, and that's why I think I had to put it on there. I do love the fact how the movie does throw in catchphrases for all quotes from the film. I don't know if they were actually from the movie or not.
Not at all. They're not even voiced by it.
They're not.
They're not even convincing voice actors. In fact, I'm almost sure the Samuel L. Jackson one verges on being inappropriate. Like there are bits of it like where the guy's just voicing it, and he just. It's one of those. Do you remember, like when they take a cartoon of a film and they get a voice actor to try and mimic the main actor? If you say for Avengers' sake, like they get a guy to try and do Robert Downey Jr.'s voice,
it's not him. But...
and there's aspects of it in this. It's not even close. Like he's saying stuff, and some of it's dubbed from like the film, so he never says like the swear words. Never yippee ki yay, motherfucker. It's yippee ki yay, and then it stops. Like, and there's other bits and pieces like Samuel L. Jackson says stuff. It's a bomb, and you're like. That's not Samuel L. Jackson.
I got a machine gun, which he never says in the movie.
No,
but,
he doesn't. It's on the jet.
But going back to the window wiper, you'd see the people getting run over, and the window wiper would knock all the blood off. And like Mary said, some random person with Samuel Jackson go, "Are you aiming for these people?" But they weren't just short games either.
No,
they were actually bang for your buck.
Yeah.
So you'd have like, I think 3 was probably the shortest out of the 3 of them. But I remember you going back to that menu, and it would have the percentage mark on it. Obviously, you save it in your memory card, but it would say you've done this amount of percentage of the first one, or the second one, or the third one. So, but yeah, it was such a shock because again, we had played Alien Trilogy prior to this, and we just thought it was going to be the 3 movies as the first game on that, when you're just the third person shooter sort of thing. But no, it just turned out to be completely different. We all had a laugh of it. I just wish I had that fucking gun with it. I probably this probably would have been number 1 if it was that was the case.
It was awesome. Yeah, the gun that I remember having with it had that recoil on it. So
arcade style as well.
Went back. It was so good.
But yeah, can't deny fun times had on Die Hard Trilogy. So I had to go on there.
Definitely.
Nice.
Number 4, Mario.
So my number 4 is from that franchise that I've been hiding away from, and it's Star Wars.
Okay.
Love Star Wars. This is Super Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
of the 3 games.
I was so close to putting the Super franchise in. It's literally my number 6. That is.
Oh, mate, they were so good.
They are hard as balls, man.
They were. So basically, you would start. The levels started off the same as in the films. Now, the only difference with Super Return of the Jedi was you never knew how Luke got to Jabba's palace. But in this, he's in some weird speeder, and you're jumping across levels to pick up kind of rebel symbols as you go in and out of rocks, and then you turn up at Jabba's palace. So, and then you've got a whole level with Princess Leia in the kind of bounty hunter outfit.
Bounty hunter stuff, yeah.
But then you've also got her in the slave outfit later on as well. So like she jumps around and and you get Han Solo again, and you get a level with Wicket as well, going through the jungle in that. And there were little kind of, like I say, there were spaceship levels where you're going up and down, and like really basic kind of Super Nintendo stuff. But
so that segment where he's jumping onto speeders, that explains how.
He's on you're in a speeder. You're not jumping on a speeder. You're on a speeder, and you're going through a desert. But like
the speeder jumps.
So
the speeder kind of,
in a way, it explains how he gets there.
Yeah. So you're taking the journey to get to Jabba's palace. And then one of the bosses is the kind of ball thing that comes out of the door to greet Princess Leia, to greet him.
The
little head ball thing that comes out that glows in the dark. That's one of the bosses. Like you have to, I think you're Princess Leia at that point.
So that's revealed how that creature looks like.
Detour.
Yeah. R2 Detour. It's really good. That whole franchise, if I could put all 3 of them on there in that spot, I would. But I chose Return of the Jedi because it was the one that I lusted after the most. And this was the one that I couldn't wait for it to come out in the British version. They weren't going to bring it out in the British version, I don't believe, at some stage. So I bought the American version. So I had that massive Super Nintendo converter thing.
Yeah.
So a grey block, massive cartridge on top, and then a little British cartridge in the back. And then you could play it. And then what was great about these was they had a password thing at the beginning. Now, the Lego franchise kind of took that on, where you could put in a code, and the code would either take you to the level that you were at, because you couldn't continue or save it.
Oh, right.
And it would take you to, say, like level 4. So at the end of level 4, it would go, here is your level code to get to here. And
I know what you mean. Yeah, like a pass. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
When I would get the Super Nintendo Power magazine, you would then get a list of codes, and it would be like unlimited bullets and unlimited lives.
Good old cheats.
Yeah, and you could speed the game up as well, so the game would speed up, or you'd speed up just your jumps and stuff, so you could do the spin jump. So if you were spin jump with Luke, like
that was deadly with the lightsaber, wasn't it?
And you could throw the lightsaber as well, because that was the first time that you could do that as well.
Yeah, because I don't remember the other ones. Yeah,
and then you could kind of jump and spin, and the lightsaber would spin. But if you were Han Solo, you would jump and spin, and it would just fire out all the lasers.
The homing things, wasn't
that was it. Yeah, you had homing missiles come off of him as well,
awesome.
which he never had, but it was good. And Chewbacca would do the same, although Chewbacca was quite clunky and clumsy, because you'd expect that of a giant character, but they were so good games.
And does it follow the story?
Man.
Yeah, this is it. Each level is a part of the film, almost like a scene of the film. And they don't do cutscenes as such, but what they do is like a pixelated video of the film.
Oh, right.
Or not even video, pixelated still.
Like a picture,
Yeah. And then next to it is like the kind of what's going on.
Text.
Then almost like the scrolling
Old
text.
school,
The opening sequence was always the scroll. So you do like choose your character or whatever you're going to play, and then you scroll up. It's been so many years in a galaxy far since, and it would. But the music on it as well was the music from the film. 8-bit yet again for Super Nintendo.
8-bit
synth. Please tell me, did the lightsaber?
Yeah. All those noises are in it, and the guns, the pew pews.
I think the lightsaber is literally when you press start, it does a.
It does it all. Yeah.
But I remember when you died in Return of the Jedi, Salacious Crumb would go if you press to continue or something, wouldn't it?
That's exactly that. So good.
Going back to your question, it's like, so that bit explains how he gets there in the beginning. That's cool when games do that.
The issue is that I don't think they had enough levels for the game, so they extended some of it. Because I think in Super Star Wars, there's the level where he drives to the sandcrawler, isn't it? And that was never in the film.
And you chase down the sandcrawler, and then you break the sandcrawler.
You shoot Jabba every time you killed him.
And they shoot off the screen as well. So when you shoot them, they fly backwards off the screen. And there's a whole level in the Super Star Wars one. There's a level where Luke says, me and I can't remember the guy's name now. Better than you at shooting womp raps.
That's it. Yes.
There's a level where you're in the speeder shooting womp raps.
Oh,
so in that orange speeder thing that he drives to Mos Eisley in, he's got that, and you're shooting womp rats as you go through that level. It's like another one.
Shoot womp rats with T16s in my home.
That's the one. And he does in Empire Strikes Back. There's a similar situation as well in that, where you're just flying through, and the kind of weird bat type creatures that are coming towards, I can't remember what they're called, but they're coming towards you, and you're shooting at them as well in like an X-wing and stuff. There's loads of little nods and little kind of like you say, we need to fill this game out a little bit more. We've only got 4 levels.
Yeah, it essentially was. I mean, there were still great levels regardless, but they never went out of the box of the movie. So I think there was a couple of weird ones. I think Super Star Wars has the cantina.
Yes.
In it, but it has this random boss in it, and the boss in the end of that level is one of the 3D characters from the chessboard in the Millennium Falcon, which is completely random, but it's there. But if you're a Star Wars fan, you knew what it was from. So nice little nods, but essentially gap fillers. But everything else, like major in that movie, was a game version of it as well. So
and there's little extras as well, like you could go into secret areas, so like you could double jump up, like in Super Mario where you get like the jump above the level. There were little bits where you could, if you double jumped at a certain point, you'd go up and you could run across and drop down, and you'd be in a zone, and there'd be like a bonus kind of thing from Star Wars.
Shitloads of hearts and extra lives and whatnot,
or a super weapon or something different. It was
awesome.
It was a great platform game.
Completely. I didn't know this game was out.
You can get Super Star Wars on PlayStation Store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just give that. I think it's like $2.99 or something, just to see how bollocks hard it is, because it's
is it hard?
Yeah, dude. Half my childhood was spent on just Super Star Wars. Could you imagine me getting through the other two as well?
And I think I had Super Star Wars.
It can't be that hard.
But don't forget, you had no memory card or anything. So if you died, you went
back to the beginning.
You continues right back to the beginning.
You either had to get a code, or you had to get your extra lives as you went through. So that was the whole point. So these secret levels would get you, say, 20 extra lives. Massive hearts with like a times 10 or something on it.
That's
and
right.
That'd be your lives to get you through to the next bit. And then, just like in Zelda, where you start out with 3 hearts, you would start out originally with like 3 hearts.
And then you build it up.
And then you build it up through the game as you went along, until eventually, I think you had 2 lines of hearts, and that would get you through to the end.
Old days
Just
before memory
about.
cards, eh?
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah.
How important they would
These
be.
guys don't know, mate. This is-
I mean, yeah.
No, I played.
But before that, you had batteries on the cartridges, so the batteries would stay in the cartridge. So when you took it out, it would just have enough power just to keep the game in there.
Oh, really?
And so if a little 2032 battery in there, and it's soldered to the board, so that when that battery dies, you can no longer save your games, or you'd lose the game that was on there. That was one of the reasons why like emulation came about, is because people didn't want to keep losing their games, so they would download their games and their save games to keep them at that point.
Mind blown, eh?
Mind fucking blown.
You don't know, you're born.
I was born in it.
Molded by it. Anything else on that, sir?
No, that is me done on that one.
I should have guessed the franchise because you're wearing the t-shirt for it.
I mean, let's be honest, my t-shirts are like Star Wars or Marvel or
Yep.
DC. Like,
That's it. Don't need any more though, mate. That's it.
No, that's it.
That's it.
Big Gal, number 4, sir.
Mine is also a Star Wars franchise. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Nice. This is when it was a galaxy far, far away then.
That's what I mean. Like years before, where Star Wars actually took place.
That's where laser swords come from.
Freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
Yeah, I think it originally came out on the Xbox. Is that true?
The original Xbox, yes,
Yeah.
it was. It was
So-
exclusive at the time, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when this came out, and I was like, "This is one." I didn't have the console at the time, so I think I went a year without the console, and this came out, and I was dying to play it. And it's essentially is the Mass Effect that we know of before.
It was done by the same guys, wasn't it?
Yeah.
BioWare.
So,
Before they did Mass Effect.
essentially, yeah, and it takes place in obviously a galaxy far, far away.
But this is essentially when you sort of choose your destiny, wasn't it? In a
This
way,
is-
or was
this
that the
is what-
sequel? I can't
No,
remember.
So
I think that's number 2. I
yeah,
think.
this one is you build up to becoming a Jedi. Like you don't
Yeah.
know Jedis exist at this point.
and number 2, you get the choice of becoming bad
Yeah.
or good,
And you get to choose your colour lightsaber, don't you?
Well,
You
this
get to
one
choose,
has- plays
green, yellow.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, me personally, I prefer this one more. I think it's. I think if you played number 2 when it came out, it was very rushed. It took a year to make, and it was buggy as hell. But even though I enjoyed that one more,
The first one,
but,
you're talking about?
the second one,
Second one, yeah.
and it wasn't done by the same. It was done by Obsidian.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
In a nod to John, this was the first Star Wars game that I played on PC.
Oh,
the
nice.
first PC game that I actually bought.
But it was good. It's phenomenal because basically the story in that is I don't think it's basically you get to choose your background of who you are, and then you play out these sort of scenarios, and you meet the forgot the name. Do you remember the name of the?
I can't remember the name.
Raven? Is it Raven?
It might be Raven, but it's like a Jedi Order sort of thing, but they're not really called the Jedi Order
No, it's
as
not.
such.
But yeah, and you go out collecting your sort of like allies and you recruit them. But in the second one, you have to form this relationship, and it's like so like in Fallout where you got to have charisma. It's got all that. Where this one did not have that as much. And it kept more linear.
Isn't the first one as well? You investigate a few bits and pieces, like there's a murder or something, or
Yeah, I think
you have to find out who done it to get the information about. Yeah,
I think that's in on. I can't remember. It's a Tatooine. I think.
So this is a long because I
It's a
remember
long,
playing
long
this a
time
long.
ago.
I think
Yeah.
I still had the original Xbox when I played this, but I remember I knew of the game, but I wasn't a fan of the style of the game at the time. Wasn't into RPGs as much, but I remember walking with my roommate at the time. I walked into his room and he was talking to some random Hut character, like one of the Jubbas. I thought, damn! Look, I mean, being a Star Wars fan as much as Mario, it's just like fuck, that looks pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So I went and bought it the next day. And I don't think I've played the sequel. I've only played the first one. So
Yeah.
the sequel I enjoyed more than the first one.
I've heard that
but
it's
I think it
better.
was because I was looking forward to it as well.
right.
But then off the back of this, there was Star Wars Galaxies or something, and it was basically World of Warcraft, but for Star Wars.
That's the Old Republic or something.
Yeah, it was like
now, isn't it?
you were online, and you could then go through the galaxy to different planets, and you could choose to be a Jedi, a scoundrel, something else. And I think
that still goes today. You know that one.
Does it?
I think it does because it keeps coming up on my Steam Deck. You should buy it.
Because the other thing was like you couldn't become a bounty hunter, but you had to, unless you'd taken on so many bounty hunter tasks, which meant that you couldn't become like a Boba Fett type character. So you couldn't become a Mandalorian unless you'd taken on certain tasks on certain planets.
Oh right.
And if you kind of got enough kind of bounty hunter points, you would then become a Mandalorian, and you could buy the armor and all the Mandalorian weapons. Until that point, you had to do that, and that was the same like Knights of the Old Republic. If you chose certain paths, it wouldn't let you buy weapons for certain.
Yeah, you can't wear
classes.
a Jedi out.
That's annoying.
Yeah, but going back to the combat, it was very a bit
Your
like
turn, my turn.
Similar, very similar. Which I enjoy that sort of aspect. But
you're a JRPG, aren't you? So.
You like an order to things.
Yeah, and it was cool because you can outfit him. So if you did follow you pick your class. If you picked you want to be a Jedi, you can rock up in the Jedi outfit. Again, I would say number 2 was more. You can do more. It was more like things like you can color your lightsabers, which is more. I had more fun, but I remember it was so buggy, like you couldn't play it. And then there's mods that are now completed, and they've got extra story content that wasn't in that original game. So yeah,
I'm gutted the franchise doesn't go on anymore now because I know a lot of Star Wars fans say that this is one of their favorite Star Wars games of all time.
Yeah.
And it's a shame about that PS5 remake because I would have bought a PS5 just to play that as well. So
I don't think it's happening though.
No, it's not. It's indefinitely not happening now. Apparently, as they put it, indefinitely not happening.
I can't remember the story. I know the story was epic, man. It was so good. But
that's what I'm saying. It's been so long since I played it, so I don't want to come up with Darth Plagueis because the people on this fucking platform will start raving. It wasn't that, you know. So
that's why I'm not going too much because I'm probably mixing up 2 of the stories together.
Exactly.
There were so many games of that type around that time as well because you had
even all the Battlefronts are out there, weren't they? And stuff.
Yeah, and the first person shooter, which I can't remember off the top of my head now, but that was the one I was talking about at the beginning. It was like
Republic Commandos.
No, it was before Republic Commandos.
Dark Forces.
Dark Forces.
Yes,
it was
the PC
Forces,
one. Yes.
And you had Dark Forces 2, and then you had a bolt onto that, which had Mara Jade, which was one of the characters you could play as. And she was the first one to have like Samuel L. Jackson goes, "Oh yeah, I asked him for a pink." She was the first one to have a pink lightsaber.
Yeah.
So she had that, and then they became kind of canon. So from the books and stuff like that, which is what I was getting at, because Admiral Thrawn is from the books, and the minute I saw him turn up in Rebels, in Clone Wars, I was like, oh my god, it's Thrawn. Oh, the books are real, because they'd already said, no, the books are rubbish, nobody cares, it's not canon anymore. I was like, no, it is, heir to the Empire. And then recently, like in Ahsoka, they name it as well. Oh, the heir to the Empire. I was like, oh my god. But there's no twins, there's no Jade, there's no Jason, there's no
Well, it's cool when they do that, don't they? When you follow something like a game and then it actually turns out it's just
thanks to Disney, there's no and Forced Unleashed. There's no other canon to the books, is there? Like you said,
not anymore.
Fuck's sake.
Fuck Disney.
Oh well, don't, because the big brown mouse is going to come at me. Anything else on that, sir?
No, that's it.
Right, nice picks, guys. Number 3s.
Number 3.
My number 3 is going to be a clash.
Oh,
but then keep it to your turn, all right? So my number 3 is the when did it come out? I think it's about 10 years ago now. Mad Max on the Xbox One or
Brilliant.
PS4.
I never played this.
So I never heard anything about this game. I'm just like you mentioned in the last podcast, I love Mad Max.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I was going to play this regardless if it was wank or not. But this is fucking amazing, and I think I recommended it to you to play, didn't I?
Yeah,
because you're a fan of it. You're not like a major fan of Mad Max.
I love the recent film, but I haven't seen the.
You need to go back and watch the first one. You got to take it as it is, because it's the first hour of that film is really awkward to watch, and then after that, because I think it's 2.5 hours long. I think the first film.
Yeah, between 2.5. Yeah.
And the first hour of that is quite hard to watch because it's Mel Gibson not at his best acting very early on, very young.
And loads of policemen in leather.
And also there's loads of raping and pillaging.
Fuck yeah, I forgot about that.
And that's what makes it a really difficult watch for the first hour. And then after that, you get into the action revenge and the car comes out. And then it's like Knight Rider on steroids, big kind of desert scapes, him angry, strapping his leg up where he's been shot in the leg or cut.
I'm going to check it out.
It's really good.
Yeah, so back to the game is where it takes place between 3 and Fury Road.
Ooh.
So in Fury Road there is mentions of Junktown.
Yes.
So we actually go to Junktown in the game.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if you remember in the movie Fury Road, he has visions of a woman and a girl that get run over or get attacked by people. I can't remember what it is now.
Yes, but I always thought that was his wife and his daughter.
No, it's from the game.
No.
Yeah, so again, if you're not familiar with it, then that's where it's all come from. And I was like, because obviously I'd seen Fury Road, and I'm thinking, what? Hang about. I thought, like you, it was such and such, but it's not. It's actually from this.
Did George Miller have like an input into the game?
I have no idea. He must have done.
It's his universe, so I feel like
he must have had some sort of impact on it because what would be the point of connecting it between the two? But anyway, if you've ever played the Batman Arkham trilogy, it's essentially that, but Mad Max.
Oh, wow.
And it is the combat system's completely the same.
Awesome.
It's got the elements of RPG where you go to these other towns, beat up raiders and overtake their outposts and everything, find gasoline, find water, then you come back and you've got your own garage. You can... What's the guy that goes to the back of your car?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
What the fuck was he called? You come across this chap and he's like... He's a bit deformed, whatnot.
But imagine like...
he essentially goes on the back of the Inceptor.
Yeah.
And he had to take out other cars, he attaches a hook to the car. So he attacks it and you have to pull the cars over and everything. And when you do, it all goes in slow-mo, something like out of Fury Road. It's so
imagine having
good.
Golem in the back of your car. That's what it is. Like, he's like,
that's it. Yeah, that's what it shows. A Mad Max Golem, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, the combat system is friggin' awesome. Do you remember the Frisbee number 2 the kid has? That comes up in it at some point as well. There's so many great little nods. Fucking, what was it now? The ending to it is literally straight after. So the Inceptor gets broken, gets damaged first thing in Fury. We never see the car, don't we?
No.
That's sort of explained at the end of the game. There's a reason why it's pulled over, why he's having a piss, and all of a sudden raiders start attacking him. So those raiders are from the game. So he's essentially beating up their boss, and he's still being chased by them from the game. And that's why the first movie starts. So very good, very great connection between it. And then that goes back to the question, what I was trying to get to you guys. Do you prefer it to be a sequel or in between timelines? There's a nice gap between 3 and 4. Unfortunately, it wasn't Mel, was it, in the end? No. So, but as a game, man, it was one of those ones I was expecting crap and I got gold from it.
Is the character like Mel Gibson in like his appearance? And
he's quite a young character, isn't he? Yeah.
Slightly different. For me, I felt like it wasn't Mel. I don't feel
no, because he wasn't trying to be Mel either. He didn't have the Australian accent or anything ever. So, but it's still, or maybe it's the start of the Tom Hardy Max. Maybe
is it like an evolution into Tom Hardy? It's like a cross between the two,
possibly. Yeah, from what I can remember, anyway.
I didn't have any. I don't feel like it was connected to Mel or Tom. Just felt like his own sort of.
It felt like the origin for Tom, honestly.
Maybe because I was like, I didn't watch the old films.
Yeah, you hadn't seen the old ones, have you?
So I don't know.
But I highly recommend it. You can get it dead cheap on Xbox, PlayStation, PC. It's about $2.99, I think it is.
Didn't it used to be on Xbox Play? Isn't it on...
It was on Game Pass for a while, but they've taken it off now, yeah.
Okay.
But if it's honestly dead cheap. It goes, I think it's about 50 hours worth of game as well, so it goes on for a while. It's bang for your buck.
I so badly want to jump in, but...
I know. I want to go back and like go to the garage part and just put spikes on the wheels and everything in.
I love how you say like the game was 40 hours or 50 hours. And we were talking about Moonwalker. 45 minutes you could do that game.
No way, is it really?
Yeah, 45 minutes end to end.
No way. Oh, that was it, the weather conditions in that game.
Oh,
yes, so obviously you're familiar with sandstorms, whatnot. Yeah, drive away, because, it's honestly...
I'm going to get something. I have, like, I think I've said it in a previous episode, the graphics on that sandstorm, like, you come up to it like a cliff, and you can overlook the whole sort of map.
Yeah.
And in that you have these sort of what's those things where the convoys?
Yes, yeah.
So basically, there's a convoy and it's protected by these other cars, just like the film, and they just go around. They've got a circuit they follow, and you overlook that, and you can see them like going around on their sort of route, and in the background you just see this like storm.
Doesn't the guy behind you warn you as well?
Yeah, he warns you. For me, like I thought when I first played it, I thought it was part of the game.
Yeah.
You know, it's just in the backdrop; it doesn't move. But this shit came close and close, and I was like, and it was like for me, it was just amazing because that graphic holds up even now. If you watch it, one of the best sort of scenery in a transition for a weather condition. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's what you know when games are like, oh, don't worry, you're just going to sands. No, you get fucked up.
It's like when
Seriously,
they start going Forza. We're going to add weather to Forza. And you're like, okay, and then they actually added weather to Forza.
Yeah.
Like the cars would slip and slide.
That's it, exactly.
The rain would hit the windscreen, and then you'd actually see, like, if you didn't put windscreen wipers on, or it was like a cockpitted car, you couldn't see out
fucked,
of it.
Yeah,
not to that level, but
okay,
because I'm saying as in like. I didn't expect this game to have that quality, but when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, I was blown away. I was like, that is impressive. And it still
they put so much effort into it, into such a movie game. You just wouldn't expect it at all, would you? It was just, I think that's why I had to put it on there. If not in the top 5, it would have been number 6. But yeah, it makes me want to come back and replay the fucking thing now. But yeah,
you love it. It's such a great game.
I might have to.
Honestly, highly recommend it, mate. That's my number 3. What is yours,
So, mine changed a genre of game as well, and it's Rocky Balboa.
No way, on the PS2, wasn't it?
No, I had it on the Xbox.
Ah, okay.
360, wasn't it?
So, it came out, I'm trying to remember now which one it came on, whether it came on the Xbox first. And I know a version came out on the Xbox first, and then it went to the 360, because there was a sequel on the 360. And it then changed into Fight Night Round 3.
Ah, right, okay.
So, it became EA's Fight Night series from that, and then I think that's now moved to being MMA or something similar like that.
Right, yeah. Or UFC or whatever.
Or UFC ground pound or whatever.
It sounds so bad.
Sounds like some of the films we were asking about the other week. But this game was awesome because it took a boxing mechanic that I didn't think was possible in a boxing game. Like I played Punch Out and I played all those sort of stuff, but this was, you got to play as Rocky. You got to play through the first film almost. So, like, if you played the game as a one player, you could go through it, and you would go through, and Mickey would come in, and he'd be like, "Oh, you got to do this, Rocky. You got to." And
nice.
You have little training sequences in between, but your thumbsticks were your left and right hands.
Right, okay.
And depending on how you moved them, so it was like almost like if you did like a fireball from Street Fighter sort of thing,
half semicircle,
then he'd do a hook. And if you did the other one on the other one, he'd do a hook. And
that's
then
genius.
If he does uppercut, I guess.
Well, no. If you did up, it was a jab. So you could just push, jab.
You had to do the full semicircle.
But then, in order to do that, you'd have to kind of like...
Up, down.
Yes, it was more or less like that. And then also, if you held your triggers, that turned it to a block. So you could then block, move your thumbsticks, and you'd block in a specific manner underneath it. Yeah. And you'd go through all the characters, and you as Rocky trains, he gets better at certain things, and you'd have like special move sort of thing. So if you got to a certain point, you could pull the triggers, 2 triggers together, and a special move would happen.
Okay.
And it was like, it looked like Stallone from the films as well. And the training sequences, and there were little nods to the film as well. So you get video sequences from the film and the intros, and
so you're basically playing out the film.
Yeah, you start off in a shitty little gym playing some nobody. That was like a big fat dude that is coming at you, and then you kind of go through each of the kind of
level
films.
Up, so.
And you go through each of them. So it wouldn't just be like, although it's called Rocky Balboa, it wasn't set through any single film. So it wasn't like you going through just Rocky 1. That was it. All the characters. When you get to the end, you've beaten Apollo Creed, or you come close to beating Apollo Creed. No, you got Apollo Creed. And then you went to the next bit, and it was even Drago. And then it was on to, I can't remember what Mr. T's character was.
Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang. Yeah, and you go to Clubber Lang. And then there was even, you could get all the way up to Tommy Gunn, I think his name was.
That was the 5th one.
That
was
the Apprentice, isn't it? Or...
And that was,
He was.
And you could get up to there. And I think there is, now I can't remember whether this is on this one or the second one, but you actually can go up to the street fight bit as well. I can't remember what film that was.
That was Tommy Gunn as well, number 5, yeah.
So it was that. But yeah, the game itself, it was this mechanic of left-right movement, like with your fists, and you would, hold the block to dodge and duck
I might wanna
and
get
block,
that.
and it was a really good. Like, it didn't age very well, but Fight Night takes that on, and you can get then the Rocky characters into Fight Night as well. So it gave you that option. But Rocky Balboa was such a different game. Like I say, you were playing as Rocky, and it was the first time I'd ever seen a game like this. And it wasn't first person. It's like Punch Out over the shoulder. So you see that kind of.
I remember the arcades used to be with the sticks. I never know they actually did it in the home consoles.
Yeah. So you had the thumbsticks were left and right, and then you pull the triggers, and the triggers would then change it to a block. So
okay.
the left trigger would then change it to a block, and then you could use your thumbsticks to kind of block high, block low, or kind of block down, mid block or whatever. Yeah, and you could do low punches as well, so you could get if you got them in certain positions, you could get that.
Sounds like you had to really master something like that.
You had like a Y would be grab, so you could actually hold. So if you're near kind of end of life sort of, or you say end of life, but like your life bar, if your life bar at the top was kind of depleted, you could push like Y, and then you grab them, and that would give you a little bit of recovery time. And there was like if you were knocked to the floor, you'd have to spin the sticks in a certain way.
Oh,
so
the old school WWE thing.
Yeah, it would come up on the screen, and it would show you like, now you've got to go this way, and now you've got to go this way with the other thumbstick, and then so on and so forth. And it changed the whole mechanic, but it made like the boxing game more fun than Super Punch Out.
You've got to get a few blisters out of it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just curious, what was his finisher?
He doesn't really have one.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Rocky doesn't, no.
Because you said he has a finisher.
You have like special moves you could do, but it would be like a sequence of shots. So it would be like
like combos.
Yeah, like a jab hook, or a hook jab uppercut sort of thing, and that would be kind of it. But you could always finish on like an uppercut, and then you'd always see the character kind of fly up in the air and fall backwards, and then all the flash bulbs go off, and it's such a good game. And yes, like I said, it led then into the kind of boxing genre.
The origin for Fight Night. I never knew that.
Yeah, because before that, there wasn't any Fight Night games, and then Rocky came out, and then Rocky disappeared, and I was like, and then Fight Night came out. Fight Night was like, now you've got boxers from around the world that you could pick and choose and play in those games.
They should do it now with like the Fight Night sort of mechanics. That'd be quite cool.
I think it'd be really good. Yeah, you could bring in like all the new kind of up and comers, or even just start making that downloadable content, like they do, like. FIFA is now FC24 or whatever. I mean, if you just done it as FIFA and then you buy the add-on for the next season,
get the Rocky pack or something. Yeah,
you could get the Rocky pack, or you could get next year's fighters, or you could even go backwards slightly, and you can get like they've done like again with FIFA, where you can go back back leagues sort of thing. So now we're kind of back to almost like League 2 sort of situation. You can bring people up from the Championship, and it'd be the same in boxing. Like you could have an up and comer, and you could actually play as that up and comer all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be well good. I mean, it's no different from fighting games now, isn't it? Just buy DLC and get that. Yeah. I'd fucking give that a go. I love Rocky. So.
I played Fight Night, but I didn't know it came off of Rocky.
Yeah, it came off of Rocky. Rocky was the first
when you
one for that
it,
mechanic.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I was like, oh yeah, because I think one of the consoles, PS3, it was you got a bundle with the Fight Night game.
Yeah.
And I was on that. I didn't realise. Oh, it's interesting.
But there hasn't been one since, I think, Xbox 360. I think was the last time there was a Fight Night game. Fight Night
like you said, they upgraded to MMA and UFC. Now that's the boxing now, really, isn't it? It's a shame, really,
because the boxing, I think it lends itself really well to that, because there's no kicking, so you don't have to show the lower body in any way or form. And if you just leave left and right hands, and then like I say, the ducks, and you can move your head, and it's really cool. Like if you pushed the thumbsticks up into the corners, your head moved in that direction, and if you moved them to left and right, it would be you block your body.
Did they have the recovery bit where there is in the corner? And you have
So you have that. So when the rounds end, you have like that little side game where you have to actually put the cold press on, or I don't think they did the cutting, thank God. But it was always
cut me, Mick. Cut me.
But they would have like cold presses, like the old cold bars on there, and then there'd be something else. So you could either do that, or you could build your morale, like you'd have a team talk or something, and
there's a mini game out of it instead of just sitting there watching it.
Because otherwise you kind of what do you do in between rounds? Well, now I'm back to what it was, but there's something just to break it up. But I also think it kind of stop your thumbs getting cramped.
I was going to say,
because
like,
after being there, like holding or gripping this controller, and like I need to punch left and right now.
did you go through a couple of controllers for this?
I went through like controllers like nobody's business. Like I think the Duke was the controller that I went through
I
the
love the
most.
Duke, man.
The Duke was amazing. I love that controller.
I loved it.
It seemed too big to be real, but it was the most comfortable thing in my hand.
Exactly.
It was
It
sat
was,
on a
wasn't it?
sofa. Do you know what I mean? In your hands.
Everyone bad-mouths it. It was a comfy one.
Such a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my number 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Again, I like you, Gal. I never knew. I thought it was just its own franchise. I never knew Fight Night come out of it.
But I feel like, does it have this sort of comic book effect?
No. It's
realistic.
It's realistic. Like it's not like I say, it's not like
Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, it's not like Ready to Rumble. It's not like Super Punch Out or any of those games. It's like playing Fight Night, but with a Rocky skin,
okay.
And with the Rocky kind of scenes in between. So like all the movie scenes and stuff like that, you get that into it. So you get like the little bits at the beginning where, you know, oh Mick, put me in the ring. I don't want to do this gangster shit anymore.
You're a bum.
Yeah.
There is no tomorrow.
Exactly that. And then you play through each of the films as they go, you know, when Apollo gets taken out.
Soundtracks as well.
Yeah. All the music's in there.
What's coming to me? I'm going to be like that. I'm going to be like that. You want to see that? I'll do you. Such a fucking great movie.
Rocky Any Day, mate. Amazing. Even the last one. Even the Creeds. I'll take the Creeds.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they are Rocky remade.
I haven't seen 3, actually.
I haven't seen 3. Don't think I've seen 2 in its entirety.
Okay.
But I've the first one, just like, I like Creed 1.
I do, yeah. I was expecting it to be wank, but it was actually pretty good.
I've only seen 1, to be honest. Creed.
Nice. So what's the number 3 for Big Gal?
Mine is a Lord of the Rings franchise.
Yeah, shut up. I've got to let you off.
Shadow of Mordor.
Nice. That's the first one they did. There was 2 of them, wasn't there?
This is not. I've not played this one.
Have you not?
I got given the game and I gave it away.
Did you not? Why not?
Oh,
because it didn't seem like it was something that I would play, and then I played it somewhere else and was like, oh, I should have never given this away. And I've not played it in its fullest. I've played like about an hour, if that.
It's good, man. It's definitely. I'm with you on this. I never played this till late, like a few years after, because again, I didn't think it would be my type of game, nor it was going to tarnish like the timeline with the movies and stuff. But no, it's actually really, really good. I'll let you explain.
But I think I was confused of where it was at one time. I think I had to come speak to you about it. And then it is that character is Sauron, isn't it? The guy. Yeah. So that's when I was like mind blown. But yeah, it has the Nemesis system where when you defeat the enemy, they end up. There's like a sort of ladder of.
That was the system they built for the game, wasn't it?
And then they had to they patented it because it was such a popular system that had not been done.
Yeah, it was an open world game, and the Nemesis system was like if you went and beat up an orc or something and he'd run away, he would actually come back for revenge later. Be, hey, you remember me?
Oh, wow.
You took my eye. No, I'm back for you. And they'd always talk like that, by the way. Every orc would talk like
really bad American English,
exactly, yeah.
And they end up becoming like an orc king, or there's like a level.
They're like move up to general or something, didn't they? Yeah. And Gollum pops up a couple of times as well, doesn't he? But the character himself was just like, again, I'm going back to what it was like with Mad Max. It was very Arkham Knight sort of style, was it? Before Lord of the Rings
as well.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
System. But it was an open world, and you just go around sneak. It's just spot on. It's just like Batman.
No, but this. Sorry, going back to the story of it. He's essentially a ranger, but he gets in. It's
that dark elf thing. The ghost
he
elf.
inhabits his body. So he's got like two
splits personality, and then he gives him sort of quest to do about. No, he was like. Sorry, that's it. He was the one that made the ring.
Yes, that's
okay.
And
the blacksmith
he
that made
possesses your main character.
Right.
So you go around like following his sort of story. Like he wants his revenge on basically spoilers, Sauron. You find that out later on, and then you go on doing a quest, and you find out what exactly happened, and that's it.
Yeah, because your main character, he essentially dies at the very beginning, gets his throat slit, but then this ghost inhabits him to stay alive. So he's like, I'll help you stay alive if you help me do this stuff. But But there's a whole lot more to it. Obviously, we're trying not to spoil it for everyone because, again, these games I think still live up to today. But I just remembered like the part where you can switch between the guy who inhabits you, and everything slows down. So he gets like his bow, and you're just shooting arrows into all the heads of these orcs and whatnot. And they're all taking one shots. It's so fucking good.
It's just like bullet time.
Yeah, essentially like Lord of the Rings bullet time.
I think after the one
time.
you mentioned, this is like one of my favorite Lord of the Ring games.
I do like. I mean, War of the.
I'm surprised it's not on your list.
What is it again? Shadow of War, whatever it is. Or
Yeah,
War
that's the second one.
That's the second one, and that goes. Yeah, I think that one because it flopped, which I don't know why, because it's a very really cool game. I'm kind of gutted they're not doing any more of this because I reckon this franchise could have built on. But then, where are you fitting it in with the timeline?
I can't remember why.
This is all before Lord of the Rings as well, isn't it? So
yeah, and you can't. Yeah, this is exactly my thing. There's so many things happen in that, and you're like, well, hang on, but this is like, it looks like they added stuff just to make the game look like, buff up. But then you're like, it doesn't make sense a little bit because these things haven't probably not happened, and they're just making it up. So there's no, what's the word? Like
there's no story written. There's no kind of
it's repetitive, isn't it?
There's no Lord of the Rings myth associated.
Yeah,
with
so
it.
you just making it up basically. But
I
apart from that,
I remember when you used to go to the orc camps. And they're all like around a campfire, and then they've obviously got a caged animal there. You can go up to the pig, shoot the cage,
and then let loose.
He's fucking out there.
But your the way he goes, oh you, that's real.
You got it.
Yeah. That was spot on.
Remember me? Yeah. You took my eye.
I'm coming back for you. That's brilliant.
It's so.
It just sounds like the characters out of Fable.
But no, yes, I love Fable. Fable's good.
But honestly, you need to give it a go. It is a banging. Maybe not.
And you can get it
two.
mega cheap now as well.
The first one's really good.
Yeah, I think that actually is or was on the Xbox as well.
Yes, it is. It's on the Game Pass.
Yeah,
I think it is. You're
Pass.
right. Yes.
Give it a go.
Give it, mate. If you haven't played it, honestly, it's definitely worth it. Good shout because that was in my top 10, but not my top 5.
Oh, nice.
Anything else on that?
No, that's it.
All right, then. Nice pick. We'll go to number 2. Oh, wrong one.
Number 2.
Right, my number 2 is going to be no stranger to anyone who knows me. It's going to be the Xbox and PS2 release of The Thing. The reason I picked this is because it is, in fact, the actual sequel to the film. The unofficial sequel.
You've talked about this before as well.
Yeah, I mentioned it very briefly in one. I'll mention it very briefly here. John Carpenter always wanted to do the film, but never really got behind Universal to do it. When you play the game, honestly, you understand why, because it would have been a fucking mega budget. But anyway, I love this because, again, big fan of the movie, but it takes place straight after the movie where they get rescued. It's all about the theory of who was the Thing. Was it Charles or was it McCready? So they go there, and both of them are missing. So it's essentially a hunt to try and find the 2 survivors of Outpost 31. Obviously, you find clues and all sorts of stuff, but what I really dug about this game, again, I mentioned it before, but for the time it was released, because this is the original Xbox, this is a PS2, was the... it was a mechanic where you had to have the trust mechanic. So if you walked off alone somewhere,
right,
and I'll follow this blood trail, it goes to here, leads to nothing, you might get a clue, but when you come back to your crew, you had to try and convince them that you wasn't the Thing. Like, every time you went away, and it's just like, this is, how old was this game? It's 24 years old. And how they built this, it's like how they've done another mechanic with another certain game, I'm sure will get mentioned later. But it was so revolutionary, because it's like, guys, I've literally just been here, come with me and I'll show you, and all this sort of stuff. And it just goes on, and it's just what it would be like in real life. It reminds me of the board game Who Goes There, where you're all a team in 1 minute, and the next minute everyone's looking at each other like, who the fuck is, you know? And how this hasn't got a remake yet, I have no idea, because I know there will be people out there that would buy it, play it, whatnot. Yeah. I know there are a shit ton of people that have got emulators just to play this game all over again. Or just maybe remake or do another one. I don't know, just update the graphics to it or something. It is amazing.
They need to bring it back. This was
for anyone who plays. This is literally Dead Space in the snow. I know they kind of did that with Dead Space 3, but this one here though is
Do the other characters, do they get turned? Do you get to question them?
Yeah, so again, there's a point where you look back on CCTV and you might catch some of your other guys like
Just there.
morphing, their hand morphing or something like that. So then you've got to convince your other teammates. So like, this is him, but then
Oh, wow.
that's like me walking out just now, and I'll come back and I'm like, oh, I'm not the thing, whatever. It was just so good, and you go back to all the locations of Outpost 1, so you remember them from the films and stuff as well and everything. Obviously with the storyline progresses even more, so much other stuff happened. I think the US government gets involved in it, hence why the budget was going to be so big for this fucking movie and stuff. Especially the boss at the end, Jesus fucking Christ. But a cracking game. It had to be on the list regardless of where it would have been. And I highly recommend, if you have got an emulator of such sorts, give it a go, because for its time, it was way ahead of its time. So that's why it's my number 2.
I might have to pick that one up.
Oh, mate, if you can, I could go more into it, but I don't want to spoil it. It's definitely one of those ones you just need to go in, go in blind and enjoy the experience more.
There was one that they have a remake. That's one I will play straight away.
I'm telling you, mate. I mean, I've literally they've just released the Thing Pinball on Pinball FX.
As we were talking earlier.
Exactly, yeah. So I was like, I've got to mention the Thing Pinball. If they can do that, come on, redo the Thing, come on. Needs to be done.
A movie's in the works, apparently. Is that true?
Blumhouse is meant to be doing, isn't it? But I don't know if it's a remake or if it's a brand new thing or whatnot. Who knows?
Probably a brand new thing.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
I mean, look, they're remaking all sorts. Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Boathouse. But yeah, that's what it looks like now. Have you seen the trailer for it?
I did, yeah.
It really is. Boathouse.
Roadhouse.
But
yeah, that's my number 2. Over to Mario for his number 2.
Okay, remember when I said we wouldn't clash?
Okay.
Yeah, I got my first substitution of the night.
Oh shit, sorry.
So it would have been Die Hard. However...
try Die Hard Trilogy, yeah?
Yeah, because...
My bad, dude, sorry.
No,
sorry,
not at all, not at all. It gave me a chance to bring this one in, which I said...
I had to change one of mine because of him, so...
Yeah, which I said I wouldn't use, but I'm now using it. This is my trump card, and this is Lego Star Wars.
Nice! Yeah.
Skywalker, or the whole...
So this is the thing. So they brought out Lego Star Wars, and then they brought out Lego Star Wars Trilogy, which was all 3. So I'm going to go with Lego Star Wars Trilogy, because it's all 3 of those Star Wars. Well, actually, it's got the prequels in there as well. So it's actually 6.
There's another one with all 9.
There is.
That's the Saga one, isn't it?
Yeah, which I just can't bring myself to play because...
It's a long game.
With the first one I got was the Lego Star Wars, and that was relatively long, but they're really fun. Like the mechanic of destroying stuff to remake stuff.
I'm waiting to play with my little ones a little bit older.
Oh, yeah. And
it's
so
fun.
I think Quinn played Lego Avengers or Lego... I can't remember if it was Lego Avengers or it was one of those. It was one of the superhero ones, and she loved it. I couldn't get her in the Star Wars one. I tried, but she doesn't get Star Wars yet. She will.
She will.
But the apprentice will learn from the master.
Oh, hell yeah, she will. So in the game, it follows the films, but in such a comedic, loose way.
Yes, Lego style.
And you can... So you go through it, you can build up characters that you can play as you go through, and the mechanic of going to a helmet machine to put on a helmet of like a stormtrooper or a droid or something else just to get you through the next obstacle. So like to trick a stormtrooper into letting you through, instead of using the force, no, you go to a helmet machine, you put on a stormtrooper helmet, and he thinks you're a stormtrooper despite the fact that you're wearing a slave Leia outfit underneath it. Sort of like there's all these sort of things, and kind of you're collecting all the coins for your life, or all the little coins kind of bits from Lego, and then
you can actually utilize it, right? You go and buy stuff.
So you can get so many, but there was actually like these little containers you would get. I don't know, they don't think they exist in any sort of Lego things, but like a white container with like the joysticky thing, and then the green and yellow, green and red blocks on them, and you collect them as you go through. And then when you come out, you go into like a shop, and you'd be able to kind of go, okay, so I can buy that character or that helmet, so that when you go to the helmet machine, you could have like an Imperial kind of guard helmet, or you could pick a different sort of or the boss one. Yeah,
because I was playing, I was like, what's the point of these coins?
And then you go to the you almost I think it's the bar you go to, because I know you start in the cantina in one of them, where you go into the cantina and then you can purchase and you can purchase models like little trophies and stuff as well, which would then give you extra figures as you go through, or extra special abilities as you go into the game. And
it's co-op as well, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
All of them are, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all co-op, which is what makes them fun, because if you get the kids involved, it gets annoying because they lag behind and they stay I'm just having a look over here. No, we want to go over there. Over there. Go over there.
But it's 2-player, or is it?
I think it's only 2-player. I don't think I've ever done more than 2 players.
I think it's
2.
Yeah, it would be just 2.
But yeah, and the puzzles as well, that and you can switch between your 2 characters. So it's easier if you're playing 2-player and you're 2 characters that you need to get a puzzle. So like the droids could go through certain things.
That's right, yep.
In one of them, R2-D2, I don't know why they left this in, but like he could fly using the jet rockets.
Yep.
So he could get across certain things. And if the person that's the weakest in your playing group is R2-D2, they always just fall out of the sky. So they get halfway across and then drop. But it's frustrating. It's fun. The little sequences in between them make it even better. So it's like, this is the bit when, and then they change it slightly because it's Lego.
Yeah.
So it's like that
little comic of it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, make it really light-hearted and really kind of fun. But it's a really good take on the Star Wars franchise, or any franchise. So I think I sent the message to you, Ant, saying, can we involve the Legos? But they've done so many, and each one of them has taken it to a different sort of level. Like they did Indiana Jones, they've done Jurassic Park, they've done
Indiana Jones. Where's Nathan Drake's Lego? Exactly.
That's why he needs all the help he can get.
Oh, you bastard.
He's something like that. They've even do Minecraft Legos.
You're lucky Howard's not here.
Fuck Indy.
He's going to listen to this and be like, right.
But yeah, and then they've done these superheroes ones, Lego Batman as well, famously, even became its own film. They've taken that and they've made
that
the
one's
games.
meant to be good. The Batman
one,
even like the Harry Potter ones and the Pirates of the Caribbean, they're all good.
The Harry Potter ones are really, really kind of niche as well, in the fact that they really do poke fun at the actors as well as just the characters in the game.
Do they have the whole series?
So the Harry Potter,
the Harry Potter ones,
but they're in 2 halves. I think 1 and 4 is on the first game, and the rest on the other game.
Yeah, and then they've done like the Avengers or the superheroes, the Lego superheroes.
That is so fucking good.
They are really good. And each of the characters having their different things, and even bringing Deadpool into that just for silly bits and pieces.
I just realised never mind.
You can change it if you want last minute. I'll let you have it if you want it. I'll let you have it if you want it.
No,
I think that Lego franchise and the Lego Star Wars one in particular is definitely one. It's fun. You can play it at all ages. It's not too serious.
And I'm glad, like you said, there's 3 versions of it. Yeah. So like those ones, or the whole bunch, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. I played the. It wasn't the trilogy. It was the next one, which had the 6 on. I think it's not Saga, but anyway, and it had the first 3 of the prequels and that, and they poke fun at the prequels in places where like Jar Jar and stuff like that, and make him kind of hated in the game as well as in reality. And it's just such.
But did you complete it?
I completed Star Wars, I completed Empire, I completed Jedi. But the thing is, when you go through them, you get a percentage, like at the bottom of the Die Hard ones, you get a percentage of how much you've done. And I've never 100%ed any of them. So I've got like 98
insane.
Or something.
It's insane. There's so much.
Don't you have to go back with certain characters to 100% them or something?
Yeah. So there's certain things where you see a character's face on a block.
That's right.
And that character's the only one that can open that door. And that will then lead you into another secret area or even a shortcut through the level. So like there are even speed levels. So if you can get through the level in a certain amount of time, you get another character. And the way to do that is to go in as another character, open these doors, and like one of them is you open the door and you're at the end. The end is just the other side of the door.
Is that character involved in that film or that particular level, or is it just some random?
It's just for the level. It's just 100% the level.
It is Star Wars based, so they're all Star Wars characters, or kind of takes on Star Wars characters.
But you might need Boba Fett's jetpack to get to a certain part or something, or Palpatine's electricity, or whatever.
Or R2-D2, or Darth Vader, or a stormtrooper, or something like silly little thing. Or you might need a laser gun or a lightsaber. Simplest thing, like in Star Wars, you don't start off with a lightsaber as Luke. You start off with a gun, and then later on down the line, you get the lightsaber. So there's the whole sequence on the the Millennium Falcon when Obi-Wan's teaching him how to use it, and they put the helmet on, and then they leave the room. So it's just Luke in there with the helmet on, and this thing just kind of buzzing around. The thing shoots him a couple of times, and then it just leaves. So there's just Luke kind of stood there with the lightsaber on, going, "Is it anyone there? Hello?" Like silly little sequences like that. Like,
Hello there.
that's it. And it's like, use the Force. But yeah, they're a great franchise, but the Lego Star Wars one is the one that I played the first,
Damn
the
good
one that I
pick.
played the most.
I need to play the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit ones as well. I've never played them.
There are loads of them. Like, they're so good.
Yeah, and I know they're kind of rinse repeat with different franchises, but you can't deny they are great nostalgia bait and everything, aren't they?
It does exactly what like most of these games do, which is like they put you into the places that you want to be. Like you're talking about Helm's Deep and stuff like that. You want to, once you see the film, I want to be in that bit. And it was the same for me with like the Star Wars stuff, like where you could get. Do you remember X-Wing on the PC?
Yeah,
and it put you in the cockpit of
an X-wing.
Is it the same as Rogue
Squadron?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
this was like from the cockpit's view, though, wasn't it? And TIE Fighter was another one, wasn't
TIE Fighter was
it?
another one. So there was the two. You could get X-Wing and you can get TIE Fighter.
They were two individuals,
two
weren't they?
individual games. And do you know in Star Wars that grid in the Millennium Falcon, the targeting grid?
Yeah.
So you had that in the corner.
Where the X-Wing goes.
And the graphics were like that, except they were very much kind of line-drawn X-Wings and TIE Fighters and stuff that would fly across the screen. And the explosions were very kind of, War Gamesy, 8-bitty kind of lines exploding, but it's so good. But yeah, Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's a good introduction for little ones.
100%.
Good.
And coordination, jumping, all of that sort of stuff.
Still win.
It's like a 3D platformer but puzzle game, more or less. So it gets them thinking as well. It's not kind of nonsense. And also, I keep trying to justify this, but it gets them reading.
Oh yeah,
because of all the sequences on the screen.
Absolutely.
Because like, oh, Daddy, read that. No, you read that.
Yeah, and that's true. Yeah, I don't think of it like that. Yeah.
That's how I get away with playing Pokemon so much. Quinn, what does it say on the screen? Okay, we can put that in your reading journal. Quinn read.
Brilliant. Get him to record it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice. Anything else on Star Wars Lego?
No, that's it from me.
Nice. Then let's go to the one you've changed, Big G.
I've changed because you took mine.
Tit for tat.
We're all using trumps tonight, right?
Yeah.
What's your number 2, sir?
So my number
needs to look at it now.
I'm just double checking. Number 2 is I've only realised I can't believe it.
It's fine, you can have it,
Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy, fair enough.
Hogwarts Legacy, the new one.
I was like, oh my god! I missed.
What was it going to be?
It was actually Mad Max.
Yeah.
I'm gutted that I had to take that off now because you mentioned it. But
he got there before you. He got to Die Hard before me.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Well, we need to roll higher next time, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
It's true, yeah.
It's the only way around this.
Hogwarts Legacy.
But I've not played this, so you're all in on this.
Me neither.
And
I've debated about getting it as well.
Or, do you not like the look of it, or
I just didn't know what it was.
It's the most sold out game last year.
I'm not into Harry Potter as much, so that's that I'm more of a Tolkien person. So
Mario, you are a Harry Potter fan, right?
Yeah, lightsaber with wooden sticks.
Yeah.
Star Wars with wooden sticks.
It is Star Wars.
It's true. So you basically like me. What I love about Harry Potter is like the whole. When I was a kid, Harry Potter came out, and it was like I was going to Hogwarts. Blah blah blah. I was at that age, and this takes place as I think well before the Harry Potter franchise, and you're a teenager. You're not as
it's a prequel, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
So well before Harry Potter,
right?
And you're a teenager who just recently acquired his powers, and he's getting exported into Hogwarts, and stuff happens where like the founders of the Hogwarts have some issues, and there's a flashback about them leads into the main storyline, which I won't spoil. But the brilliant thing about it is, I don't know, have you played any previous Harry Potter games?
So the only Harry Potter games that I've played was the one they brought out on the Wii, which was for the film.
And that just follows a story.
You're a mate. What's the one?
I'm just going to say, like, it didn't make the list for a reason. And it was like you were given spells, and the Wiimote was what you would move around the screen in the directions or in the shape that was shown on the screen, and that would be your... So the Wingardium Leviosa flick thing, you had to imitate that on the screen, and you had to get it exact each time, otherwise you weren't able to do that. So, but if you had a level where you had to go to and you had to use the, swish and flick or whatever it was, you had to get it just right to move the door or to move the key or to move the lock, and it was just frustrating as hell.
It's nothing like that. This one. This is basically you live your life at Hogwarts, and it's like that open world space, and it's huge, it's massive. You go to Hogsmeade and stuff, and as because you're a new student, how are you going to learn these moves and stuff? You have to go to class. Not actually got to study. It's part of the story.
So you got to work your way up.
Yeah, to it. A bit like I love Persona, because it has the class system where you have to go to school.
So you would learn a skill in each class, and that would then power you up to the next.
Yeah, and it would take, and it's part of the story as well. So that's how you get the choir, and then. During the day or night, you'll have to go and you need to go to Hogsmeade, and in there there'll be like a story mate, and you.
So hold on, I have to go to school in the game.
That's what it sounds. It sounds like that, but it's not. But it's done so it's like in a cutscene or something like that, and he's like, you've done this, and you got to do like not like the Wii one, the circle. You just do it for the actual button, and then it'll be in your inventory as a move, and you can actually do the action's quite good. It's not like Batman style one. If it's basically. You basically hit the actually no, it is like Batman actually.
What, in that you have to hit them in a certain sequence, so the timing has to be right.
And you can counter them in a certain way.
So like you have to, if you hit them so many times with X and then press Y, it does a certain motion. Or if you pull the trigger and you jump to the next character, or
no, I need to get a buff.
Anyway, carry on.
I'll come back to that. Oh man, that's gonna bug me.
It's set in Hogwarts, right? Of course.
Yeah.
So, are there locations in that people would be familiar with?
You've got the forest. I can't remember. Forbidden Forest. You got Hogsmeade, and then it literally expands across all the whole map around it.
So you start off a certain area, and then you have to unlock the rest of the map, do you?
It's got the whole map.
Is there any kind of, other than the kind of founders of Hogwarts, like, is there any kind of references to the characters?
Yes.
Obviously not Harry, because like he doesn't exist yet. But
previous
like areas, people, Dumbledore.
Not essentially Dumbledore, but there are characters which get mentioned.
Okay.
There's a link
so like
to
Tom Riddle or something gets mentioned.
Not
by name.
No.
Okay.
But they're quite interesting bits in there. But it was, for me, it was something that I always wanted to, the game of Harry Potter, and then it was done to the T for me, that one. I know.
So you got to live your Hogwarts years that you wanted to live. You were that magician. No, so whatever it is.
It literally, like if you
wizard.
The design of the castle
You've got to be
itself,
a shitty Jedi.
It's amazing, because there's floors of floors. It's literally like a maze, and if you see the film, it's literally like that.
The staircases move.
Yeah,
so
they'll swim around at certain times. And then it's so.
Do you have all the
secret
entrances in the Hogwarts? Hogwarts. Any of the secret entrances, like the pictures that open, so you go into them, and
it's done to the films, and there's bits where like certain houses can only. So if you go to Ravenclaw, they've got their house where they're situated, that you can actually exit from their top floor. You don't need to go down to the main gates. Like that. There's little perks like that.
Is this stuff like if you try to sneak into like the Slytherin dorms and you're like Gryffindor, will it like...
It won't let you in.
It won't let you in?
No.
But could you sneak in using like...
But there's some missions where you have to. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a stealth element as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it one of those online game-based games?
No.
Or is it...
It's just like a
So you can have a one-player experience?
Yeah, it's like a normal...
So be honest with me, okay? Have you ever gone up to another student and gone, oh my God?
So again, you got to follow Sir. No, that's another thing. You can do that.
I'm fucking out, man. But do they say it, or do you actually say when you do it? You got your controller, you're like, oh man.
You got to do a certain pathway to unlock the moves. So you get all your main moves that you know of, and you got to follow like a dark path to get those, to acquire those.
Like a Sith, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But
some sort of dark wizard magic Sith.
Yeah, why not? Is that what you said? Sticks with Star Wars. Hey, come on, man! Harry Potter's cool, man. But no, one cool thing is literally like when you when you're out on the outside the castle, you can literally just zap on your broom and just swing around, and it's seamless. It doesn't even like.
Well, you can actually like go into the forbidden forest of it. And
just from there, just swing. There's no loading or anything. Just go.
That's pretty cool.
It looks amazing, man. It's good. You got to play it. I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan. I don't think you like it.
So my daughters are both Harry Potter fans to the point where they both have their own cloaks, and one is obsessed with Luna Lovegood.
Really?
Yeah,
How old are they?
6 and 7. Quinn will be 8 in. Yeah, I know, mate. Like, but Quinn will be 8 in April. So Quinn loves the Harry Potter story. She got into it. She got into it big time. Like, she was listening to the books. That was what sent her to sleep for months. Wow. Like, and probably long before she should have listened to them, because there's a lot of stuff in them that she doesn't understand. But, like, she had to take it slow with the last 2 books because she got scared listening to the stories. Then we got
they do get dark towards the end, don't they?
Then we got the films, and the worst films of the 2, so the last 2 films, are her favourites.
Oh, really?
And she cried when Dobby died. And like Sam mentioned that the actual site is in Wales, and now you can't go anywhere on the beach because the beach is now covered in rocks.
Rocks for Dobby, isn't it? Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, we'll go there one day and we'll put a rock down." I'm like, "Oh, I don't think that's ecologically sensible." But both my daughters are well into it. Like, and Ivy's the one that's Luna Lovegood. Like, for World Book Day, she actually went as Luna Lovegood.
That's amazing.
Nice. Despite her year being told that they had to go as Julia Donaldson characters, so she was like, "No, to hell with that.
Fuck that.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. I'm going Luna." Kind of coming up to me going, "Can you 3D print me some Luna Lovegood glasses?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to get them in time." And all the models I found are crap. But yeah, they're both into it. In fact,
you've got a 3D printer.
I got 3D printers, mate. I'll show you something after this that will probably make you jizz your pants.
Okay. I love jizzing in my pants.
I think I jizz my pants now.
I've got a whole sequence of helmets and shields and stuff that
I might need you to print something for me.
I can do whatever you want. Which sounds really freaky after that last comment. That sounds really weird. But yeah, each of us has our wands as well. So Ivy, who I always said was the evil out of the 2 kids, chose a.
I'm still in.
She chose a Death Eater's wand. So we went into the wand shop, and Quinn chose Hermione's wand. Like, she knew it off the top of her head, so she was straight to, "I want this one. This is mine. This is mine." I go, "Okay, fine, whatever." And Sam, I can't remember what she chose, but it was Ginny's wand. So she chose Ginny's wand.
Oh, they're going to love this game then, because you can customise your.
And Ivy was straight in there. Death Eaters, look, it's got skulls on it. I'm
they
like,
do look badass, I have to admit. Even like Voldemort's looks pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, and they got a writing set with the pens and stuff, and she's got Ivy's got Voldemort's pen with the bone hook thing on the end, and Quinn's got Harry's one, which is like, it looks like a wooden stick sort of thing. Like, it literally looks like a twig.
No one went for what, Malfoy? Is it Malfoy's one? That's the smart looking,
the black sleek thing.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just.
I think Dumbledore's is quite cool. It's got the little Chinese writing on it on the side and one.
No, he's got the elder
cool.
one.
That's the elder one. That's
the elder one, with the little knobbles. Yeah,
that's quite cool.
Looks like a knuckle on each section. Yeah,
could be like a cowl for a lightsaber or something, right?
Yeah, it could be
their own design.
They have different colours, different crystals.
But this is what all your things you're saying. It's all about being selective, and the game has all that. Like, you choose your house, what house you choose, and everything's like
it's got everything a Harry Potter fan wants.
Basically, basically, and that's why I love that game.
I mean, I'd like to give it a go, but I'd probably like something because my daughter likes Harry Potter. I'd like her to play it. I wanted to get off fucking Roblox. I can't stand that piece of shit.
Oh, mate, tell me about it.
It's absolutely nonsense.
24 hours a day.
Absolutely.
Can we play Adopt Me? No.
Oh, my God. She plays... Oh, I fucking hate that game so much. Give me some Robux. No. Let's try Harry Potter now. You know, like that. So.
They got Robux for Christmas, and that was the biggest mistake we ever did. Can we get some more? No, you're going to have to wait till someone gifts it to you, because there's no way I'm spending 20 quid on 8,000 Robux and all you can buy is a silly hat.
Clothes or hair or smiles or whatever. Oh, don't get me started.
Don't know about it. I heard about Robux. Man.
Yeah, you wait, mate. You wait.
Yeah, you wait.
Your time will come.
Fuck.
The minute they ask for a tablet, walk away. Walk away fast.
Mate. No. Anything else on Hogwarts Legacy? I say that's a great little substitute there, sir. That was a nice little gap filler there.
I completely, if I had not mentioned that today, I would have,
Look at us all with options.
Man. I can't believe I've overlooked that.
But now I've had to change my number one because of you, so
Why?
let's find out.
I'm glad then.
It's number one.
So yeah, my number one has changed literally last minute because I know what yours is going to be, and it would have been mine, but let's make it fair. My number one is a PS2 game, which came out. Thank God for that. Which came out of the hype of a movie that was fucking huge of the year, the great year of our Lord 2003, and that is Enter the Matrix.
Oh, I never played this.
You ever play it?
I know of this one.
So Enter the Matrix was essentially a nice little gap filler between
You play as the character Will Smith.
Matrix 1 and Matrix 2. You play as Jada Pinkett and her co-pilot of the ship Ghost or whatever. I can't remember what she was called. Nairobi?
No,
Yes,
Nairobi.
yeah.
Nairobi,
Yeah.
But so yeah, this is the story of them.
It's the sister ship to the Nebuchadnezzar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, so obviously the Animatrix was a little story about how they find out the Sentinels are digging towards Zion.
Yep.
So this is the story of how they need to go and get to that ship and find proof that they are going to be to get the proof to show to Zion that this is happening. And that's when we get the beginning of Matrix Reloaded, when Nairobi says, "Look, this is photos from the whatever the ship was called, Osiris."
It might be.
might be.
They're
The
all
flight
named
of
after
Osiris, yeah.
Egyptian kind of.
And so it would be Cyrus, so yeah, and she goes, the machines are digging. So this is the story of how they find it. It's kind of like Rogue One, if you will, but not quite. But this was so freaking cool, man. Obviously, you had to go into the Matrix, you had to beat people up, you had to do gunfights. Obviously, bullet time was involved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I know you kind of already had it with Max Payne. If you play Max Payne,
I love Max Payne.
There you go, see?
The only thing with Max Payne was the baby crying.
Yeah.
don't, man, that's
That
freaking
just
scary.
freaking
Yeah.
out.
And I didn't get to that level till late at night as well. That was it.
Oh man, that's not good. But no, yeah. So obviously, bullet time with Max Payne, but this was done 10 times better with this one. The fighting was friggin' awesome because it was just like the movies. There is nothing friggin' more cooler than bouncing off a wall and then doing a flying kick to someone's head in slow mo. It is absolutely awesome. But also, they actually filmed scenes for. Like live action scenes as well. So with all the characters, and all the characters are in Matrix Reloaded as well. So it all intertwined with it
So
as
was it
well.
motion capture or was it?
No, this is like actual film,
wow.
film footage. So again, it was a big marketing campaign for Reloaded at the time, and it works so well because they've taken the time to do this. They've paid these actors to, obviously they're not in the film, but you're going to be in a video game instead, and actually build up on a story that was just. Really works well. The ending scene is really cool because basically they go to the Osiris, they get the info they need, and the Sentinels spot them. So they're just trying to shoot down all these Sentinels as they're like trying to get past and whatnot.
In Zion.
And they're trying to get to Zion, or they're trying to escape them to get to the Matrix, and then obviously tell people what's happening. There's something else happens as well. I can't remember now. It's got above
Someone
me.
dies.
No. It might come back to me later. But for a PS2 game, I was just expecting some run and gun shooter, like the movies and whatnot sort of thing. But to actually connect with the film and actually have a purpose for the game. That was it. Do you remember the twins, the bad guy twins in Reloaded? So you actually have a gunfight with them as a car. You're driving in the car and you're trying to shoot them down and stuff as well. So fucking cool, man. If you ever get to play it,
I would have thought a mechanic for like a Matrix game would have been more like Devil May Cry sort of situation.
Yes, exactly, right? Like a walk around hack and slash or walk around beat 'em up or something like that.
With like your bullet time, but only as like a special ability.
Yeah. And your bullet time wasn't all the time, but very much like Max Payne. You had to wait for a meter to go up and you can actually do it and stuff as well, whatnot. But yeah, man,
doesn't it have the outcome of Morpheus or something? Like, did you not see someone dies? Or
No.
Remember you telling me?
No. So this was Enter the Matrix, and then after Revolution come out, they'd done another one called Path of Neo. So that's another game that happened. So when the fourth one came out, I don't know if you've seen Resurrections.
No.
There you go. So
sorry, I'm on the bandwagon of I got to the second film. I lost
right.
interest in the second film, and then I watched the third one. Went, actually, this isn't terrible. And then when the new one came out, I was like, I got as far as you meet Neo again.
And he puts his hand out.
He's in the cafe or whatever it is, and they shoot, and then he puts.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm out. This is not holding my interest at all. Like there is nothing here for me.
So that's why then. So Path of Neo, we find out that obviously Morpheus isn't in the fourth movie, so that game explains why he essentially dies in Path of Neo, the game. So that's why, again, if you want to have the canon story of it, play that game as well. But no, again, this is very much like the whole Mad Max situation. I was expecting this sort of game, and I got, again, 5 times better than what I expected. It's a shame they don't do that with games now, if you will. You know, you do. I mean, let's face it. Even though if you didn't like those movies, those were huge in 2003. We had fucking promotions for everything and whatnot. It was, the marketing for these movies was phenomenal. And I can't deny I was part of that marketing for playing this game, and I can't.
I mean, long leather jackets must have gone up.
I even asked for one, man. I mean, sunglasses, we all did.
The sunglasses, we all wanted that Nokia. We all,
and all listening to our portable CDs, listening to Club of Death.
That's it, yeah.
But yeah, I can't deny Into Matrix. 100%.
A guy that don't play
number one.
My friend recommended to play it. I never got around to play it.
If you ever can, again, get an emulator, or if they re-release it or something, just, oh man, give it a go. It's totally worth it. That's my number one. Over to Super Mario is number one.
Super Mario. This is yet again an old console game.
Nice.
First-person shooter.
Go on.
GoldenEye, yeah.
You knew it.
I thought it would be.
It's got to be, isn't it? It's got to be.
It was going to be in the top 5, but I knew someone would have it.
The best game on the shittest controller.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and it was weird.
I'm so glad you put it on there,
and
mate,
it was
honestly.
weird because
I thought you were going to say it.
I was going to, but I thought someone else would have it.
Yeah, I had to. Like, it's that seminal 4-player game that you could play on one console, and the console was purposefully built for 4 players, like Mario Kart.
It was made for it.
And it was a shit console. I know people will say, no, N6, but no, it was a shit console. It had a really bad kind of controller. The graphics on it were supposed to be 3D, and they were awful compared to the SNES. Like, the sprite stuff on the SNES was better, but GoldenEye, 4-player, just blew it away. And you could choose, it was the first time that I knew of that you could play stuff like the Golden Gun, where
yes,
it was like
the deadliest gun in the game.
1-shot kills, and you could set up your game. You could set up your levels, so you could have one shot kills. You could have knives. You could have hand combat, and there was the toilet level where you could jump up into the. Yep, exactly that. A silencer.
Did you always shoot him in the head?
I tried to.
That controller, man.
The characters though that you get to pick, were there
so
like old?
Yeah, you got to be blocky Oddjob. You got to be blocky James Bond. You got to be a blocky Sean Bean. They were
so bad.
They would show you the picture of like the James Bond. I can't remember what it was supposed to be. GoldenEye was
Pierce Brosnan.
And it's supposed to be Pierce Brosnan, but what you actually got was a blob with black hair. And you only really saw the hands, and the guns only kind of vaguely reminiscent of like the Walther PPK, or the Golden Gun was really easy because, of course, the Golden Gun was made out of like a cigarette lighter. So like it's this block of yellow with another block that looked like the muzzle coming out of it. But it was such a great first person. It was the first person shooter. Like, I know lots of people will say Doom, but this was like the first kind of one that you could play multiple players in the same room at the same time, bad-mouthing each other without putting massive CRT monitors back to back. Because, otherwise you were playing, Doom or I can't remember the other one they brought
Quake
out.
and all that stuff,
was it. Quake Eternal and all that sort of stuff, yeah. Or Doom Eternal, sorry, and Quake, yeah. But this was the first time, like, on a console you could have 4 people in a room, because I think after that, even then, you couldn't really get 4 players. I remember like
Time Splitters did that. We had a quite.
This was before Time Splitters.
Long before.
But this was a good movie game at the time. Everybody else was shit and whatnot.
And if you imagine, like, so this is on a CRT TV, which has got an AVI input, so it's got some analog input, and most kids of my age had a 15 or a 13-inch screen, and you're playing 4-player
on a
13-inch screen.
Yeah,
you're essentially playing a Game Boy style kind of game on the screen.
Yeah.
But you had the most fun in the world.
How did we do it back then, seriously?
Nice.
No idea.
I don't know who also thought it was a good idea to put a VCR or a DVD into the TV.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I'm
The small one I had a little cassette.
And then the speakers in the side.
Yeah.
It was like everyone now has got surround sound, like separates. Like you've got speakers behind you, speakers in front of you, speakers on your head, speakers in the ceiling. As we're back then, we had 2 speakers on the side. And like you said earlier,
that was it.
Something to bring back. Like when you mentioned about your dad bought the TV for stereo.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So Star Wars, the Super Star Wars games, actually advertised that as well, because JVC did the sound for the Star Wars games. So the first thing that comes up on those games is JVC surround stereo sound, and then it comes up with the LucasArts thing, which was like the little dancing man and the off-center kind of purple thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then as the game comes up, your title screen, so where you select 1 player, 2 player, and your passwords and whatever, and your difficulty, it says Super Star Wars, Super Return of the Jedi in stereo. Exactly that.
Wow.
Yep, that was it. But this was GoldenEye was just immense. The sounds in it as well.
Yes.
The pause menus music is the one.
Exactly that.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
the original, forget the remake. The remake is no good. It doesn't have
of GoldenEye.
Yeah,
that's when they put Daniel Craig into it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Did they really?
Yeah.
It doesn't have any of the fun. Doesn't have any of that quirkiness.
I think it is at the time. It's like you
This
can't
is the
replicate
problem.
it.
Yeah, nostalgia is nostalgia.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it worked then. Like a lot of this stuff, like the Die Hard trilogy, if you go back and play it now with the mindset of the games that you play now, it's just never going to work. And if you remake it to make it look more modern, I don't think the gameplay would work either.
It's on the Game Pass, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like,
Nowadays, it's not. You don't have like 3 or 4 of your mates around to play. It's all like done online. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not gonna have that.
I remember coming off of night shifts working down the belts and stuff at Menzies when I was a loader, and we finish our night shifts, and then we go, speak to you later. And you go home and you'd be playing Call of Duty for hours, and then to the point where when Sam and I first got together, we would play Call of Duty of an evening. And it was at the stage where I was customizing Xbox controllers. So I had an Iron Man Xbox controller. So it had a metallic red shell. All the buttons were gold.
Nice.
And I changed the LEDs in the X. So they weren't green, they were blue. So I had it was all lit blue and looked like Iron Man's armor and stuff.
This guy out.
And, Sam was like, oh, I want one. Okay, what would you want? She was, I want a pink one. Okay, whatever. Found pink shells, white buttons, and a pink LEDs, and they cost me the earth to do these surface mount LEDs. But switched out 4 LEDs in the controller.
You have to show pictures of this. Man. That sounds awesome.
So it would glow pink in the X, and then the controller was pink with white buttons.
Sweet.
And I only had one headset, and so she insisted on being on the headset and chatting to all the other guys that we'd worked with that night. But she would fall asleep, and she would where people would camp, she would hide because she'd fallen asleep and didn't want to die in the level. And so the guys would be there, like I'd switch the headset over and the guys would go, what was that? What was what? That noise. Sam's fallen asleep. She's snoring. Like it sounded like someone was trying to start a lawnmower, and it was where she'd fallen asleep when we were playing those games. But yeah, GoldenEye was the original kind of, you bring everyone into one room sort of thing.
That's it.
Everyone in there, trying to put each other off,
Someone looking at your screen.
The joy of split screen that was.
But also start of tournaments as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Winner stays on. If there's 6 of you in the room, the games were so short you could actually get away with winner stays on and just keep rotating around everyone in the room. Is that sort of situation for a first-person shooter?
But I didn't experience GoldenEye by other games like wrestling.
But not just the multiplayer aspect. The game itself was the film, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Yeah.
Like the start of the game, you had to escape the facility and then jump off the dam, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah.
And it plays that all out. Like you're still first person. You're still running along, and then you get to the kind of ledge off the side of the dam, and you get to that, and then in true James Bond style, the screen goes kind of blank as you're jumping off, and the music starts and it plays the really badly synthed James Bond film and does the whole kind of circle around the screen.
So cool.
Yeah, one player was really good, and the multiplayer was what made that game.
Just as cream of the crop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a shame they never made a part 2 of it.
So at the end of the game, it does say Bond will return, and then I believe Sony got hold of the rights, and Tomorrow Never Dies made it onto that, didn't it?
See, I played that one.
I just don't think
it wasn't the same.
It wasn't
none of them the same. But I think if you try to improve on that, you take away some of what it is. Like if you look at the Call of Duty games, like it started off in like World War II or whatever, and then it's evolved into modern warfare stuff that hasn't even happened yet, or weapons that that haven't advanced warfare and stuff like that, where stuff hasn't happened yet.
And shit.
Yeah, and I think that's the same with GoldenEye. Like, if you can't really evolve it, the character is what the character is. So all you really need to do is maybe just change the one player, or add. If you were to do it now, you modernise the graphics and everything else like that, and then your add-ons, your buy-ons, your extras are going to be, this is Never Say Never, or this is The Man with the Golden Gun, or
I wouldn't mind that.
So you can play through each of those kind of
cool.
storylines,
like Call of Duty, but James Bond. Like,
I
want that.
And then
campaign mode.
Your campaign modes are your films, and you can buy them as extras each time, because that's the way to develop it. Like,
and considering this wasn't out when the movie came out, this was like a couple of years after the movie, wasn't it? As well, and it was so much better with the Rumble Pack as well.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah, definitely.
No, it's just
I'm glad you mentioned it.
I replayed, like I said just now. I was saying it was on the Game Pass. I was replaying it, and if you didn't press start at the beginning, you see all the actors and the characters in there. And like Mario said, it's literally just a photo of the actor printed on someone's face. And the N64 didn't have the capability to put a hand on there, so they would reload a gun with their fist and just be like that. It looked so bad, dude.
It was like watching, Kermit the Frog with his hands like they're on sticks. It was like watching that. Like it's physically someone's.
But at the time, I bet you didn't realise it.
You didn't care.
Yeah, now
genuinely
it's like,
didn't care.
What?
And also the TVs, like I said, the TV was so small. Like the biggest you can get was 32-inch TV. No. 20, I think it might be somewhere like 23 or 28-inch TV CRT that took up half your living room, heated your house, and you could play the games on it at the same time.
So many, I remember there being so many like hidden secrets in it as well. Like one point you can change the bullets to paintballs.
Yep.
And there's
big head mode.
Big head mode. There was big head mode, and there was
big head mode was in every game.
No. So it was big head mode, but it was DK mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was Donkey Kong mode. So their heads would be big, their bodies would be small, and their arms would be long.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's ridiculous, but it was so much fun to watch.
One of the things that made it last longer on one player was the fact that you could add these little cheat codes in, like Sonic left, right, up, down, left, whatever. Once you put them in, you could then choose different options for your character. So you could have long and tall, and you could have short and stumpy, and you could have the Donkey Kong mode and stuff like that. And if you wanted to be the absolute dick, you could have God mode. Like in everything, where you were invincible and you could just walk through every wall and climb up stuff. But yeah, it was a great game for its time.
I'm glad you put it in there, mate.
Yeah, I had to. Like,
no. Yeah, so I was going to put it in, but I assumed one of you two would have had it. I'm surprised, but I didn't know you had never played it. So
I played it, but
if no one had, I was going to go back and done that.
We're going this one again, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, going back to that thing I was trying to think about for Into the Matrix. So in Matrix Reloaded, there's a part where Morpheus is having a fight with an agent on top of a truck.
Yes.
And he falls down, doesn't he?
Yeah.
When he falls down, Naomi and Ghost catch him on their car.
Yeah.
So there's a level on that where you're racing to get to Morpheus on the time.
To actually catch him off
to catch him off the thing. So that's what I was trying to remember. But yeah, again, sorry. Big Gal, what is the number one pick?
You know already.
I know what it is, but no one else does.
I don't know. I didn't look at your book.
Alien Isolation.
Yes.
Have you
this fucking game.
I'm guilty of not playing any of the Alien games.
You need to play this one.
Well, actually, no, tell a lie. I played Alien 3 on the Game Boy. That's my claim to fame. I'm the only person in the world that played it.
Remember when you said IGN? The IGN one was one of the review dentists. Yeah. Like, I can't remember exactly what they said. It's it's not all that.
Yeah. 6 out of 10 or something they gave it.
I was waiting for this.
I wouldn't have looked at it then.
I was waiting for this game, and then I saw the review, and then I was like kind of put off.
Yeah.
So a year or two went back, and I met Ant, and he's like, you need to fucking play this game. And I went back, oh my God, this game. I think we've talked about it before, but
for the people that haven't heard those episodes, when does it take place?
So it takes place 60 years after Alien. 60 years, 60 years after Alien, and you play as her daughter.
It's not 60 years. It's because she's only asleep for 57 years between movies. I think it's like 30 odd years between.
No, I'm sorry.
No, because Amanda's not that old, mate. Honestly,
and it's her daughter from the first film that she leaves behind.
Yeah, basically, you play as Amanda. Amanda Ripley.
She gets recruited because the recording from was it Nostromo?
Yeah,
Nostromo found it, and so they want to take her on, and she goes to
tries to find the Nostromo,
and obviously shit happens, but I won't spoil it. They go back to specific moments.
Specific, I'd say it for you, mate.
Moment that I did it on purpose.
But no, they find Sevastopol Station, didn't they? And obviously, like every other sci-fi horror, you go there and shit's hit the fucking fan, basically.
Everyone's dead except for one.
Exactly, yeah. And basically, they find the derelict ship. It's the same repeat of the first movie, but there's levels that go into it, and
you know.
But what's the cream of the crop, mate? Go on.
It's the actual alien. So I played through the game, not knowing certain things like it hunts you, so it reads your pattern.
Yeah.
So if you avoid certain areas, so you might have got. Say you hide under the table now.
Yeah.
It will go past you.
Yeah.
And the next time you do it, it'll recognize that you're
under the table.
So it has smells.
Yeah,
figures.
You can basically. So essentially, you can't kill the alien in this game.
Yep.
It's there all the time, and it constantly
survive.
hunts you through Sevastopol Station. But you can use like decoy little trinkets you can do to make noise, and it learns. Like Gal exactly says, if you keep like throwing flares or something, if you keep doing all that stuff, it will learn it. It will ignore it for next time. It's such a clever mechanic, and how they've built the AI for this organism that's hunting you. I have never been so terrified playing a game in my life. I've played this game many times, and it still has that same effect on me, regardless.
You've still got the scanner.
Yep.
So it helps you at some
The
moment.
best weapon you could ever have.
Yeah, but when you go into the air ducts, 3 or 4 or certain areas you go, you can't read it, so you don't know where it is. If it's there or not. Right. And every moment you come out, you can hear like this sort of rustling.
Yeah.
But the moment you hear it, you know he's here. It's just ka-dunk, that he's just come out of the. Yep. And that's when you know you're fucked. But it's literally, because it's frightening. And then not just to him you got to worry about. You've got the what are those
the droids
to worry about, and they're bastards. So you got to build these sort of like weapons and to knock them out. You do get a gun, but it's like the ammos are worse than Resident Evil.
If you shoot the gun, it makes noise and he finds you.
Yeah.
So
and obviously he won't do anything to them. But it's like, honestly, one of the most frightening things is I thought I was using the vents.
Yep.
I'd never seen him go through vents. So I thought, there's a mechanic issue. They haven't built that.
Yeah, they fucked up.
So there's a moment you have to like go past him through an air vent, and he obviously figured me out. So I just hid in the air vent. The bastard, he ain't gonna come through. And I kid you not, I turned around. You know in the movie where he's on. I can't remember. Is it number 1?
Yeah.
Where he was in the air vents. And
Yeah.
It was literally like that. Me and my brother, because obviously we were passing it, we were a bit scared to play it. And then he was like, we were like, like literally just shat ourselves, because we did not expect it. Because throughout any of the encounters I had, he never went through air vents. So he would go through the ceiling ones, and so I thought it was like, they didn't, had the budget to have that, and they literally just.
What a game! It was a game for fans, made by fans, and the fact that they got all the original cast to come back and do their voices and everything, whilst they were still alive. I think a couple of them are dead now. Yeah. But yeah, it's such a love letter for. That's how games should be done.
Yeah,
for,
definitely.
That's one of the last classic, more recent ones, because a lot of ours have been just ones that are older than this game now.
If you love the film, like everything, from the design of the ships to as soon as in the first scene, the little, what's that little thing in the film, the little bird that does.
Oh,
it's in there.
All
the designs, everything is done. It's done to the T. If you love the film, you're gonna love it. And one thing he also mentioned is, if you see liquid, spoilers, under the vent, don't go under it. And I was like,
it's going to be acid, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like a drool, isn't it? Yeah.
And then it was Eton, I'm going to find out what is that. And then you literally go under it, and he just grabs you.
You're fucked, mate.
No, the tail comes out, don't it?
He drops down and grabs you, yeah.
There's moments where it just stabs you from the...
Such a great game. Mary, you seriously, dude, need to play it.
You've got to play. If you're a fan, 100%. You will love it.
No, I love Aliens.
You need to play it. Trust me.
So yeah, it's definitely on the list.
That is a thrill ride and a half.
I remember watching the first film, and I watched it in the dark. Everyone
big no.
This thing, everyone in the house, because I was being the big macho kid, and I watched it quite late as well. I think I was about 13 when I watched it, and so I had it on the TV we had in the living room, the main TV, but to make sure that nobody in the house got woken up, I had headphones plugged into the TV.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and it got doubly bad as well, because I'm watching it, and you know the bit just as the chest burster comes out of Thingy's chest, and he's laying on the table, he's just eating the spaghetti and whatever. Just as that thing bursts through his chest, my phone rings. The house phone rang, and where I was sat, because the house was quite cold, we had like a heating vent down one side, so all of us, me, my brothers, my sister, in order to get warm, not because the house was cold or like we were poor or anything, no, it was just because it was the warmest point of the room. We'd sit next to this vent, and the phone was there on the vent.
So it's right next to you.
So it's right next to us. So I've got the headphones on, and I haven't got the headphones on massively loud, but I've got them on loud enough so that I'm immersed into it. And just at that moment, the exact moment where it kind of goes and comes straight through his chest, phone rings.
Oh, God.
Absolutely shat myself.
Amazing.
Absolutely, I had like such an adrenaline rush, like chest
Someone
going,
like
chest
waiting
going.
for that moment to call you. Or
I felt that way. It really felt that way. And it was my mate who'd lent me the film as well, just to see where I was.
Oh, amazing.
And it was like, yeah. So, yeah,
Oh, God.
such a great film. So, I mean, the games as well. I need to play more of them. But
honestly, mate, yeah, if you ever get a chance, 100% recommendation.
Probably the best one from the choice you said, as in games based on movies.
Yeah, definitely.
To a T.
Let's hope they do a sequel, but they probably won't.
no.
We've mentioned that 100 times. I'm sure people are sick of us fucking mentioning it. But anyway, some good picks there, guys. We got the honourable mentions. Anyone want to go first? So, Mario, you've got like a page and a half there, haven't you?
I have. Some of them have already been done. But, so one of them's a little bit weird and out there. Aladdin on the Sega Mega Drive.
Yes.
It's such a great
100%.
platformer as well, and it was true to the Disney cartoon.
It was, wasn't it?
Disney
It was.
did that really well with their games. They brought out loads, but the animations, the all of the kind of bits you were grabbing, and the jewels, and the change of Aladdin.
Faithful to the movie, wasn't it?
Pretty good, yeah. And then I've got Batman 1989, but the Atari, the Ocean Software one. Now, this was like a platform game. And Batman, you'd shoot up your thing to go up kind of levels, so you can climb up the ladders and stuff like that, and you can use your batarangs to knock out the villains. But what it had as in between that was in the film, and it only happens like once in the film, he turns a corner using like a grappling hook out the side of the car.
Yes, yeah. And you have to,
Chase,
I remember that.
There's a chase part, and it's an over-the-top kind of, looks like the original GTA, like that overhead view. And as you're going through the traffic, there are gaps in the buildings, and you had to time it.
I was going to say you had to do a specific time, didn't you?
Yeah, like because you were moving. So if you missed it, you didn't progress to the next level, didn't progress the story because you had to turn to get to where you had to go. So you hit the button, and then you would turn the corner. And then it would go back. Your next bit would then be another level up and down, and then you'd have to another driving level where you go through it and hit the button. But yeah, you'd have to hit it at a specific time. It was really difficult. This game, like this was insane. Days of Thunder on the Game Boy. I thought that was one of the best racing.
What? I never knew that.
Yep, one of the best racing games I ever had. What else have I got? I think we discussed Incredible Hulk and Tron, the arcade game.
Nice.
That based on the film, and you had
the cycles. Like
So-
cycles.
Is that the recent one?
So no. So the original Tron, 1984, I think it is, game that came out with a film. So you had the one that was the cycles, but this was the one with, you know, the big kind of they look like a house with legs.
Oh yes, I know. Yeah. It's like a square sort of shape, isn't it?
And if you ever watch the film, you'll see that in the middle of it they got like a weird joystick. So the controller on the arcade game was that weird joystick. So you had the guns on it, and you could turn and you could move.
No way! I
go
didn't know
through.
that.
And there was that. And we had like a mini game of Tron as well. And what that was like Pong with a little bit extra, where you'd shoot the disc to try and get the other person.
Oh,
so you'd move up and down, and then it had another one where you had to get the disc to the master control unit, and you'd fire
What
the
was
disc.
this on?
This was literally a little game. It was do you remember like the little watching game things?
Yes, yeah.
But you could get like a Space Invaders one, and it ran off mains power, or it ran off the big double D batteries.
Right.
And it looked like a really reduced kind of arcade machine.
Okay.
And it was about the same sort of size as, I don't know, a toaster maybe.
Right.
And really small, and you could play this game on it. And you had like
Basically a game built into the console.
well, it was before consoles. This is long before consoles, and this is monochromatic lights kind of shine through the back, like a really digital kind of. And you would move up and down and fire a disc. And the Tron one had a D-pad, and then what looked like your identity disc was your fire button. And so you had the light cycles was the first bit. So you go up, down, left, right, and you left it. It was like Caterpillar or the worm on the old game. But you had to block the other. So you had two of you on the screen at the same time. You had the trails that go behind the light cycles, and then you'd have to block the other bike in. So you then knock it out. Then your next level would be your one-on-one with the disc throwing. So you, like a frisbee, but that was the one that was like pong on steroids. And then the last one was you'd fire the disc and you'd have to get the angle just right to get it to the master control unit, to blow out the master controller unit. So you had 3 little mini games in this thing, and you had like 3 lives. And if you lost your life, it went back to the first game. So you can never carry on. There was no continues or anything like that. They were great little units. They're literally like the same size as like a toaster. Little LCD screen and a little controller, really basic but great fun. Really annoying kind of beep noises, like a watch kind of game thing. Really beepy games, but that was really cool as well. And then, in line with Star Wars, there was a youth centre in Ifield, and they had an arcade game, and it was the Return of the Jedi arcade game. And it
game,
yeah, and it was a Return of the Jedi arcade game, and it was on the speeder bike. So it was the Jungle
I remember
Speeder.
that.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it was the Jungle Speeder level, and that was all that was that Jungle Speeder level.
Yes,
and you went through it, and you were shooting the stormtroopers, and each one got progressively more difficult.
How was the graphics like on that one? Is it like
bad?
No, just
if you can imagine, like 80s kind of arcades were very kind of like sprite based, so it was all kind of blocky, very kind of it resembled what you were shooting at. So you get the bike come on the screen and so. In my head, I remember it being better than I've seen it recently, like kind of played on screens and stuff. In my head, it was like, oh yeah, it looked like Return of the Jedi. And then when I've watched it recently, like that's not what the film looked like at all in any way or form. But it resembled the forest going through it, and you had the ability to speed the bikes up. So if you remember in the film, she pushes down on the foot stirrups and the
yes, it's like
Yeah. It does that. It does like a turbo thing. So you could push on this thing and you'd shoot forwards. Obviously, you wouldn't actually shoot forwards, but the screen itself would shoot forwards. And it was just like a plastic bike. You couldn't lean on it or anything. You had the controller at the front, which was basically like a motorbike kind of thing. And you had this trigger thing on your foot that you could push and you'd speed up.
Nice.
But yeah. Return of the Jedi.
Nice. Did you ever be honest, did you ever do any quotes from the film whilst doing it?
Of course you did.
Keep on that one, I'll take on these two.
All of that sort of stuff. But there's a whole slew of Star Wars games that came out in the arcade. Like there was ones that would surround you. You had there was for a long time, late 90s, they did one which was virtual reality in the loosest sense. But you had like a flight sim, you'd sit in it and you'd be like TIE fightering around and you'd move, this thing would move you around in circles and all over the place. Nice. There was a whole slew of Star Wars ones. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there the Star Wars arcade trilogy, which just had the stick, and you'd done one from each film or something, wasn't it?
That was it. Really basic.
Remember Pod Race as well?
Pod Race.
Pod
Race was amazing.
That was awesome, man. Yeah.
That was on my mention.
And then there was also again Star Wars, but the Revenge of the Sith, the first one they brought out,
Phantom Menace.
Oh,
the Phantom Menace game that came out
on PS1. It's underrated, man.
So good.
You mentioned that a while ago. That is a damn good game.
Such a good one.
I don't know why people hated on it. I actually quite liked it.
No, it was
again. That one came out same time as the film, didn't it?
Yes,
same time as the film. But because it was done by LucasArts as well, it was done properly because it was run alongside the film. So like some of the backgrounds and stuff that they used in the film, they're pixelated obviously because like it's nowhere near the graphics of nowadays. But it's reminiscent of that as well, and the hangar bays and stuff like that. Some of those were really good as well.
That takes me back.
Yeah,
nice. Any more at all? Or?
No, most of what you guys have covered, and most of mine are Star Wars anyway. I don't know if you noticed, there's essentially a genre that I play.
Keep them coming, mate, honestly. Big Gal, what's yours?
I've got one from the Mega Drive, Toy Story, which I remember fondly.
Yes.
Nice.
Hercules as well, also a good one.
Yeah, another Disney one.
Yeah.
Both of them Disney, both of them true to yeah.
Yeah, I think they're same, like, platform.
Yeah. Similar
to Aladdin, but the Toy Story one I quite stood out because it was 3D models at the time. If I look at it now, it's probably rubbish, but it was actually pretty cool. The rest have all been mentioned. And Warriors.
Yes, Rocksteady did that, didn't they? Yes. Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, that's me.
Mine are near enough taken, so I've got a couple. So first off, Peter Jackson's King Kong. At the time, it wasn't a great one, but for a launch title, I think it was a quite underrated game, to be honest.
It came on the Xbox, wasn't it?
That's right,
It was the one that was included.
That's it.
Was it that and Roman Centurion thing? I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah. So there's that one. You've got the obvious multiplayer games they've got out at the moment, which is the Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw.
Yep.
I've got The Lion King, the Mega Drive version.
Yep.
I've got RoboCop, the arcade game. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember it doing a synth voiceover of "Come with me if you want to live," but not as really bad Arnie. But it's not even Arnie in the film.
There is, you're actually quite right. But no, I put down the arcade because I've not played the recent one yet. But I know what you mean. I've got the Ghostbusters, the video game, the 2009 one, which was the official Ghostbusters 3 at the time. Really liked that, really enjoyed that. There was an old PC game of Blade Runner, which was pretty much the click and point, wasn't it? Sort of thing, wasn't it? That was quite cool. Jurassic Park and the Mega Drive. Yes. That's when the T-Rex says Sega at the beginning. But also the choice between characters of Alan Grant or a Velociraptor.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Everyone's
awesome.
a raptor.
You talking about Alien 3 on the Game Boy. I've got it for the Mega Drive. I don't know if you ever played it or not. That was actually quite good.
I don't remember playing it on the Mega Drive.
It was good, man. Did you ever play the old one?
I remember you talking about when you were playing it. And
kind of recent was the Wolverine game that came out on the 360 and PS3. Do you remember
Origin.
that? It was based on the movie, but it wasn't. There was other bits that were completely different. But fuck me, was that a violent game?
Yeah,
that was so good. Street Fighter the movie, which is literally Mortal Kombat with Street Fighters. I love Street Fighter the movie, man. But
Street Fighter the movie's kind of now forgivable.
But I quite like that game. Come on.
I don't know.
It's underrated.
It is. It's the only time that you see someone who resembles Kylie Minogue looking like Cammy from the other games. Because she never wore the outfit that Cammy wore in the film.
No.
And then in these games she wore that, and Van Damme wears the dirty vest in the game as well.
Yes, he does.
Whoever's digitized as
it was them. It was all them. Yeah.
And they're wearing the actual outfits from the film.
I think the only one who didn't do it was Raul Julia because he was obviously dying at the time.
That's right.
I've got Alien Resurrection on the PS1 and Alien Trilogy, of course, as well as the one I was going to say, which was the bad one, Colonial Marines, was set between Aliens and Alien 3. Also, my Star Wars side to this is going to be Shadows of the Empire, which is set between, obviously, Empire and Return of the Jedi. One of my favourite N64 games of all time. Again, I'm not a fan of the system, but that Star Wars game... It's probably my top 2 of all time, if that.
There's another one. I don't know if you guys remember Bounty Hunter. It was
that was with that's right, with Django, wasn't it? Yeah,
you know, so many
that
times.
was good.
I never played that.
I never played that.
My last one, which was a Xbox original exclusive, was Riddick's Escape from Butcher Bay.
Yes,
do you remember
based on Pitch Black stuff, wasn't it?
It was before Pitch Black, so it's literally the reason how we got onto that plane or the ship beginning Pitch Black. Again, if they ever re-release it, which they should do because it's a very underrated game, but because it was Xbox original, no one ever played it. If friggin' awesome, and I can't deny it, it's one of those. Do you remember that game No Way Out when you're trying to escape a prison with a second player?
Yeah,
kind of like that, but one player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really, really good.
No Way Out was underrated.
And that's my honourable mentions. So that's it, guys. Thanks for doing that. I really enjoyed that.
It was good fun.
Only a couple of clashes, not as many as I thought it was going to be, but we did trump a lot of ours, to be honest. So I don't know if we can keep doing that or not, but yeah. But no, thanks, guys. We'll end it there. So, guys, if you like what you listen to, follow us on Facebook at the M.T.V.B Podcast, on Instagram at M.T.V.B Podcast, or on TikTok at M.T.V.B Podcast 197. I'm your host, Ant-Man, followed by
Super Mario,
Grey Fox,
and... Sir, thanks for coming on. This will probably be the only one you'll be on season 8.
This is the last time I see you ever, G. Bye.
But thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoy. Bye-bye.